Hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're living. My name is Lacey Jane. This is Criminally Confident, and we are back in a trial. Yes, it's been a minute, right? It was just, kind of weird over the 4th of July, and I wanted to focus on my health and getting those ketamine treatments completed. I still have one left on Thursday. So Friday, we're going to be playing a little bit of catch up with trial, but this was perfect the way that it worked out. Yesterday, they had court, very first day, and today the jurors went on a field trip. So there was no court. Um, at least that's my understanding. So we are able to catch up. Hello, everyone that's watching live. I will address you guys here in a minute. But first, if you could please do me a favor and make sure if you are watching on your phone on YouTube, just double tap your screen. It gives me a like, and that pushes this stream out into the YouTube verse and helps get some more eyes on it. Another thing, I posted about this on YouTube today. Please make sure that you have your notifications turned on to all. That makes sure to alert you whenever I do go live, and that way you don't miss anything. So, perfect. Okay. If you're watching on Kick, hello, Kick. Please make sure to subscribe and to follow. And for everyone out there, if you could share that, that would really help. We're still gaining subs, and I'm so thankful to each and every one of you who spend some time every day coming and supporting me. So thank you. It's going to be a minute to get things back to normal viewership wise, but I have no doubts that we will get there. Hello, Kaylee. Welcome. Oh my goodness, it's Willa. Hi, Willa. How have you been? It's so good to see you. Okay. So for those who are unaware, there is a trial taking place, like I said, started yesterday in Plymouth, Massachusetts, like straight up Mayflower stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Like, came from England, trying to make it in a new country. And it is very old fashioned, and you will see that throughout the court proceedings, the way that they address the jurors and God save the Commonwealth. I can't help it. I'm sorry. Do you have my coffee? I need my coffee. Hello, Troll Steve. Welcome, member Dina. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for being a paid member. I greatly appreciate it. It helps support the stream. So Lindsay Clancy was a mother to 3 children and a wife to Patrick. And unfortunately, she found herself victim to something that more women find themselves intertwined with than they wish to admit, which is postpartum depression. Depression? Did I just make up a medical diagnosis? But with time, her depression got worse and worse and worse and entered the territory of psychopathy. And she was hearing voices. I believe there were hallucinations. And it finally got to the point that the voices in her head had told her she needed to unalive herself. And before you yell at me, I don't like to say that. I want to say the real thing, but YouTube gets mad. That's why we love Kick. We can say whatever we want on Kick, but YouTube, we have to be put on gloves. They don't know how to touch grass. With that being said, good morning, Grandma. So nice to see you. It's been, this has been a very difficult trial to decide whether or not I want to show for a few reasons. One of those reasons is because I have found myself, not postpartum, but I've been very open about my, um, my struggle. There we go. Sorry, words. My struggle with depression and anxiety, and I mean, it was nothing compared to this. Nothing. And the fact that the medical system, for which she was a nurse in labor and delivery, failed this woman, in my honest opinion, it's treacherous. It's absolutely disgusting. She was on so many medications. I've been on a few of those. Um, some of those were like really intense. Like, I haven't been on them, but people who are like going through manic episodes uh, typically find help taking those medications. And I I don't know how she was functioning. And nobody likes to talk about hurt children. And after she tried to, or after she succeeded in unaliving her children, she tried to take her own life. And she failed at that. And she's now paralyzed. She is alive, paralyzed, in jail, divorced, and has no children left. She is living her own hell because she struggled with a 1 in 1,000 diagnoses that happens to pregnant women, and went to seek help several places, and just the system kept failing her. The system in America, healthcare system that is, has what's called a try-fail protocol. And I've actually lobbied against try-fail. It's specifically relating to medications. What it means is that doctors are required to try certain medications before doing a medication that in their minds they know would be better suited for the patient. And as someone who has experienced try-fail with my arthritis, uh, I can't think of a more um, insulting system. And this is exactly what happens. This is exactly what happens. And I know what she did. We all know what she did. But to give you an idea of public opinion, she's raised over $1 million on her GoFundMe. Her husband at the time, now ex, God bless him, he is since remarried and has children, lives in another state. He has been the most vocal supporter of his ex-wife and asked the public to forgive her. That was not the woman that he married. She was failed by the people that we look to the most in moments of crises, and let alone a system for which she was a professional within. And so this is going to be a difficult trial. And if it gets to the point where um, my audience is extremely vocal about not wanting to watch this, we will address that at that time. During this trial, your girl is going to be, knock on wood, reporting on scene for a few hearings taking place in Columbus, Ohio. So there will be a few days where we are covering a different case, but let's not put the cart before the horse on that. I want to hear from you guys what your thoughts are. And most importantly, my biggest request right now would be that my listeners are respectful of each other's differing opinions, kind of like politics. Sometimes I believe that you can talk without yelling. I believe that you can disagree without being disparaging. And that's why I became a lobbyist. I want to hear from you guys, but I don't want to make anyone feel ostracized for expressing their opinions. And I certainly don't wish to have an echo chamber. I love the fact that there are people in this chat who do not agree with me. It keeps me humbled. It keeps me humbled. So with that being said, I truly appreciate you guys being here. And my prayers go out to this family. Genuinely, she's in my thoughts and prayers every morning and night. Like clockwork, I always pray for a lot of you guys. I don't know if Rose is in here, but she had to move since we've last met up in here. And I'm not sure how it went. I hope she had a good move. Tri-fail is a horrible experience. It's the worst. It's the worst when your doctors know that, hey, there is a great drug that, bad word, medication that would work great in this particular situation. But Aetna Insurance requires you to try 6 medications first. That is months of pain, months of symptoms, months of it getting in your head. Because no one knows this better than me, you guys. Pain equals mental health issues. Mental health issues equal pain. I cannot begin to fathom how this woman got to this point. And I'm just so I'm broken for her. So it kind of makes me pivot here really quickly. I want to thank you guys for those of you who have supported me by watching the ketamine streams. It has done its job. I have one more therapy left, but I have decreased my medication by over half, and that's incredible. That is so incredible. And it's helped me in my mind as well. Sometimes doing this isn't the most delightful of things, like especially when it involves innocent victims. And I can't begin to tell you how much I've appreciated those of you. And I'm not being weird towards anyone who hasn't been in the chats, but those of you who have shown your support through your words, through donations, through joining members only. Like, you guys just, I love you guys. Sydney, hello. I do believe that she was legally insane, not just on that terrible day. Me too. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. And it's super difficult to look at this case through a black and white lens. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the definition of shades of gray. Like, how do we handle Lindsay? Also, by the way, only 1% of cases that go to trial using the insanity plea or trying to use it actually succeed. So, like, this is a once in a 10-year, maybe 15-year trial. Strangely enough, this is just me having a photographic memory. There was a woman in 2001 that unalived her children. Aunt Tanya, I forget her last name. It was the morning of September 11th, 2001, that they went to trial. And that always stuck with me. And I remember thinking about that when I heard the statistics about the 1% of people are granted the ability to, the insanity plea. And I thought that was an interesting tidbit, and not like morbidly interesting. You guys know what I mean. I spent 2.5 years trying to find a medicine that worked. It is hard not to give up. Girl, that was me with arthritis. Me with arthritis. That was me with Maul's disease. Frank actually mentioned something 2 nights ago, and it really like a wave. It hit me because I had never put the 2 and 2 together. When our current governor was elected, I always go to the balls, the celebrations, downtown after the election. It's usually like the first or second week of January. And I was there. It was 2023 or 24, one of those years. And you spend a lot of time getting ready for this. You make these extravagant dinner reservations, and you have a grand old night. I got to the State House and I threw up. And it was the Maul's disease. There have been so many situations that Maul's clearly was evident in my life, and I didn't recognize it. And so by the grace of God, someone found it. And I hate the thought of having to have gone much longer with that, because it was really messing with me. I was so unhealthy. I was dying. And shout out to you guys who have stayed with me throughout all that. That was wild. Hi, welcome. But it took 12 years for me to get my diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, I've been praying for them also. I don't think anyone with such a great life and such a beautiful family could ever do such a thing while in their right mind. Preach. She was a labor and delivery nurse, you all. Like, she knew what was happening to her. And the prosecution is going to make it sound like she was doctor shopping by trying to see different doctors. No. I know what it's like to go to a doctor and have them not listen to you, have them not take the corrective action. I have a lot of feelings about this based on my own lived experience. So like I said, I want people who disagree with me to be in the chat, and I want them to share their perspectives. And if it's you disagree with me or someone else in the chat, I want us all to be able to have a conversation about a really difficult thing and not be disparaging. I want to be adults for this trial. All right. And during lunch breaks, I've figured out what we're gonna do. So let me know if you're having any issues on your end with like sound, or if the layout is okay. I'm gonna get started. And once again, I'm super thankful that you guys are here. We are back in court tomorrow at 9 a.m. So, like I said, this was just a perfect God thing that they didn't have to show up today, so that we could. I don't feel so bad that I didn't reschedule my treatment. I went ahead and went, and I'm able to cover it for you guys today. It worked out perfectly. Took me a while to figure out doctors are just regular people and can be wrong and rude. I have the perfect person group. You're not on social media, for you to look into, because that is so correct. Yeah, doctors can be wrong. Doctors are wrong. Oh my God. I mean, girl, a lot of people feel the way that you feel. I'm not going to lie. Coming from someone who has been on psych meds for years, it's definitely hit or miss. Yes. And then what a lot of people don't know, which I'm able to personally attest to this, you can find the right med and it'll work great for several years. And then one day it'll just stop working. And so you have to go through this process all over again and try to find the right medication. And it feels hopeless, especially when it's your mind, especially with depression. That happened to me 2 years ago. And it was such a pain, but thankfully, I I've learned after my experience being misdiagnosed for 12 years, I do my research on my own. And I looked at what my options were. I remember chat GPTing it. So that was like a brand new thing. And I was like, I want to see like the like pros and cons of each medication, which could be considered most like what I was taking at that time. Vibrid. I was taking Vibrid. And that's the one that just stopped working. And thankfully, then I went to the doctor and said, here's the medication I want to try. What are your thoughts? And he was like, I think this is a good one based on what you were on, et cetera, et cetera. Thank God it worked. Ooh. Yep. It's exhausting. It's a living hell in itself. You feel like, yeah, that is an option to for her to go to a mental institution. I don't know what they call them these days, but I know that's probably politically incorrect and probably hurts people's feelings. As someone with depression, I laugh at you people. But you know what? Another interesting perspective is that if Lindsay had succeeded in ending her own life, we wouldn't be talking about her being a bad mom, her being a monster. We would be talking about a woman who was severely severely wronged by the people she trusted most. And they had failed her each and every time. But I digress. Let's get started. And please make sure that you have liked the stream, that you are subscribed. If you're on your phone, all you do is double tap the screen and you click my face to subscribe and turn on notifications. If you're on Kick, you already know how to use Kick if you're on Kick. I'm criminally confident on there as well. And trying to think if there's anything else that we should. Oh, okay. So more politically correct is a mental health facility or behavioral health care center. It was only 5 years ago, you guys, that I worked as a I worked in a classroom with, and I quote, extreme mentally disturbed children. And that's still the term being used. If that isn't un-PC, like, I don't know what it is. All right, let's go to court.
She was sweet, silly, smart. She loved sparkly dresses and wearing bows in her hair. She loved princesses and baby dolls. She even tried to convince her preschool teachers at the beginning that her name was Sophia because she loved the Disney character Sophia the First so very much. Dawson. He was 3, a boy's boy. He was a bit rambunctious, but funny, full of energy. He loved trucks, construction trucks, fire trucks, and he spoke with a raspy little voice. Callan. Callan was just 8 months old. Always smiling, with chunky cheeks, a sweet little baby.
Gotcha, Grandma.
We are here, ladies and gentlemen, because they are not. They were strangled, deliberately and meticulously, killed by this defendant on January 24th of 2023. One by one, she wrapped exercise bands around each one of the kids' necks and pulled until their little bodies were limp and lifeless. First Dawson, then Cora, and finally Callan. Your job, ladies and gentlemen, is not easy in this case. The evidence will be difficult to see, to hear, to process. Testimony of witnesses, family, friends, teachers, people who knew the Clancy family, people who saw them regularly, people who saw them on the day in which this defendant killed them. They're all going to come before you. And it may be heartbreaking to hear what they have to say. You'll see photographs of the crime scene. You'll hear testimony from first responders. They're going to tell you about what they discovered when they came into the Clancy home at 47 Summer Street in Duxbury on January 24th. You'll hear evidence about the defendant during that time period, observations of her physical appearance, her demeanor. You'll hear testimony about what she was reporting to her friends and family and doctors during this time period. The list of witnesses is quite long. Law enforcement, firefighters, friends, family, teachers, crime scene investigators, forensic scientists, toxicologists, medical examiners, experts. We expect over the next few weeks that you'll be able to, or will be able to present to you a clear picture of what was occurring in the Clancy household on January 24th of 2023. We ask that you keep an open mind when you're hearing this evidence, and during the course of the trial, don't forget that you use your common sense and your life experience. Those are things that you bring as jurors to the courtroom every day, and it's what's going to take you into the deliberation room at the end of this trial. So what happened? On January 24th, 2023, it had recently snowed. It was in fact a Tuesday. Tuesdays were days that Cora and Dawson usually went to preschool. They attended the Learning Sprouts preschool in Duxbury, but they didn't attend on Tuesdays. So on this day, they were home.
Right, Tanya.
On this particular day, Cora, who had just turned 5, had an appointment at the doctor's, an annual checkup. And so the defendant brought her first thing in the morning to the doctor's. The defendant's husband, Patrick Clancy, was home and he was caring for Callan and Dawson while defendant took Cora to the doctor. Pretty normal. You'll hear and see that Patrick and the defendant exchanged text messages that morning. Patrick sends a photo of Dawson, who had just dressed himself that day and he was jumping for joy. And he sends that text to the defendant while she's at the doctor. And while at the doctor, the defendant sends a text to Cora and her little Johnny and mask to Patrick. When the defendant and Cora returned home that morning, Patrick went downstairs to his basement office to do.
Does this woman look like she has jaundice, or is it just me? Is this something on my end?
Work, same as he had normally done on any other day since returning from paternity leave. And then the defendant was charged with caring for the kids for the rest of the day.
Oh,
she put Callan down for a nap.
She's not talking too fast. I have it turned on. I'll turn it down. I wanted to get through it. So I pumped up the the speed. So if this is still too fast, let me know, please.
Bundled up Cora and Dawson, took them outside to the backyard, and played in the snow. They built a snowman. The defendant sent pictures of the snowman and the kids in the snow to Patrick when he's working in the basement, and her mom, who was living in Connecticut, who had just been there that weekend but had gone home. The day proceeds as normal. You'll hear Patrick describe it as a good day, actually. In the late afternoon, around 4 p.m., the defendant searched on her phone for kids' Miralax. She searched takeout freebie, and she opened the Apple Maps on her phone and searched the route that it would take to get from their house to the 3V restaurant in Plymouth. She searched how much time and how far it was. Now, this restaurant had been a place that the family had eaten before, but wasn't their normal takeout spot. She also called CVS and asked them about the kids' Pedialax or Miralax. And that's because at the doctor earlier that day, the doctor had recommended a laxative for Cora because she had some stomach issues. She had complained of an upset tummy at school the day before, you'll hear. She had some issues where she didn't like to go to the bathroom at school, a little bit embarrassed. So they suggested the Pedialax. So she calls CVS and she confirms that they actually have it at their local CVS in Kingston. Then she sends a text to Patrick and asks if he wants to get takeout, if 3V is okay. She didn't feel like cooking dinner. It was a long day. He says, sure. She calls in the order. When Patrick leaves the house around 5:15 that evening, everything is normal, seems normal. He sees Dawson eating chicken nuggets and green beans on the couch before he walks out the door.
Sounds delicious, Dawson.
Patrick leaves to go to 3V, and he's going to stop at CVS on the way there. That's when the clock starts, ladies and gentlemen. The defendant knows that Patrick has to stop at CVS, go to 3V. She knows that it's about 5 miles from their house to get to the restaurant. She knows approximately how much time she has for him to go there and come back. She then takes the children down into the basement.
Exactly.
She separates Dawson from Cora and Callan, and then she proceeds to wrap exercise bands around each child's neck and pull until they are dead. She leaves the bands wrapped around each child's neck and goes back upstairs. In the kitchen, she gets a knife, and then she proceeds to the second floor of the home. In the middle of this, she misses a call from Patrick. He's at CVS. She misses the call. She calls him right back, and they talk for 14 seconds. Nothing that she does or says in that phone call is of concern to Patrick. He proceeds on his task, and she proceeds with hers. She goes to the second floor master bedroom, locks the door, crushes up some pills, and attempts to take her own life. She uses the knife she got in the kitchen to slash her wrists and her neck. She moves the bed away from the wall, away from the window. She opens that window and goes out. She lands on the cold, hard ground. Shortly thereafter, around 6 p.m., Patrick comes home. He's got the takeout bag and the CVS bag with the medicine. He enters into the house through the mudroom door into the kitchen area, places the bags down. It's eerily quiet. He calls to the kids, no answer. He calls to the defendant, no answer. He takes out his phone and dials the number for Lindsay's phone, defendant's phone, no answer. He then goes upstairs and finds the master bedroom door locked. He opens it and enters the room, sees blood and the window open. He then goes to the backyard, and that's where he finds the defendant. She's on the ground outside that window, moaning and mumbling. At 6:11 p.m., he calls 911 for help. First responders arrive to the home almost immediately. He's still on the phone with 911 when the responders arrive, and they go right to the backyard and tend immediately to the defendant. While they're with the defendant, Patrick tells the first responders, I need to find my kids. He had asked the defendant where the kids were, and she told them they were in the basement. So when he went in the house, that's the first place he went, down into the basement. He's still on the phone with 911 when he finds each child with an exercise band still wrapped.
P.S. We are not going to be able to hear the 911 call, which I personally think is egregious, and I don't understand why. The jurors know why they're there. They know how horrible of a case this is. They have been prepared by the judge, and you'll see this guy, Kevin Reddington, her attorney. He really kind of tells them that they're in for a horrible experience. For the sake of transparency, kind of like going back to like the Tyler Robinson thing and people being able to have a fair and impartial trial, I don't know why we aren't hearing the 911 call. I would love to hear your thoughts in the chat.
Around their neck. He screams for help, and he says he killed the kids. Efforts made to resuscitate Cora and Dawson were futile, but first responders from Duxbury and the surrounding communities were persistent, and they kept trying to resuscitate them all the way to the hospital. But when they arrived at the hospital, there was nothing.
Okay, I'm a day behind, so if I mess that up, I'm sorry, then disregard.
Thank you, Sydney. For Cora and Dawson. The staff at Beth Israel were able to get a heartbeat on Callan, but he never started breathing on his own. He never regained consciousness. He had no brain activity. Nonetheless, he was transferred to Boston Children's Hospital, where he died 3 days later on January 27th. The defendant was taken to South Shore Hospital and then transported subsequently to Brigham and Women's in Boston. She had multiple traumas, including spinal injuries, as well as superficial injuries to both her wrists and her neck. She is paralyzed. We expect during the course of this trial that you'll hear the defendant made claims that either right after Patrick left the house or after he called her from the CVS, depending on which version of the events she's telling, she heard a voice, a male voice, a voice that she had never heard before, a voice that she never heard again. And that voice told her that it was her last chance, that she had to kill the kids so that she could kill herself. She immediately took action when she heard the voice, with no direction or details from the so-called voice, and she killed the children. Once she killed the children, the voice stopped. When you consider this information in the course of the trial, ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you consider the source, the timing, the substance of her statements about this voice. You're also going to hear from, or you may hear from, forensic psychologists and psychiatrists who talk about what's called command hallucinations and voices that people hear before they do something. And when you hear that testimony, I ask that you keep in mind the details of what she's saying the voice told her and the details of when this voice spoke to her. Another important thing to remember throughout the course of this trial is that this is not a case about the Lindsay Clancy that sits before you today. This case is about the Lindsay Clancy on January 24th, 2023, at the time of the crimes. This was not a woman in the throes of psychosis on January 24th, 2023. This was a woman who acted intentionally, rationally, and swiftly to accomplish a very specific goal, to kill.
JFK.
You will see and hear evidence about all the things that she did that day, what she did in the days leading up to this incident, leading to the murders. You'll hear her spending time with her family and friends. You'll hear her appearing to be in good spirits and doing better for all intents and purposes. On that very day, you'll hear she interacted with people at the doctor's office. She came home and took care of the kids. She talked to people on the phone and via text message. The evidence will show you she was not psychotic that day. Throughout the evidence in this trial, you will learn about the defendant being the classic overachiever in school, in her personal life, in her nursing career. She was someone who liked to control every little detail of her life, of her family's life. In contrast to pictures you'll see of the doting mother, the dedicated nurse, you'll also see a side of Lindsay Clancy that's different. Somebody extremely controlling, meticulous, and manipulative. The days were laid out with specificity. Strict schedules were expected to be maintained. Food was planned carefully. Sleep was scheduled to the minute. And at the time after Callan was born, her last baby, the family had to adjust. And by all sources that I expect you're going to hear at that trial, that summer was great. But after Patrick had finished his paternity leave and was back to work full time, when she no longer had a nanny to watch the baby, do laundry, tidy up the house, follow her schedule, when she was responsible for it all, it was hard. It was hard for her to maintain that control. It was hard for her to bond with her kids. And in efforts to maintain control, she withheld information from her husband, from her doctors. She reported serious symptoms that were inconsistent with her daily activities, you'll hear. And ultimately, on January 24th, 2023, the defendant made a calculated decision. This was a woman who no longer liked the life she thought she wanted. It was getting harder and harder to control. And when she saw the opportunity to escape, She made the selfish choice to take it and to take Cora, Dawson, and Callan first before attempting to take her own life. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a public debate about women's mental health and how the medical system treats women. This case is about this defendant.
You
Lindsay
sure,
Clancy.
girl?
There is no dispute that she was dealing with mental health issues during this time period prior to the murders. There'll be medical records, medical doctors, mental health professionals that will talk about treatment, prescriptions, hospital visits. All that's going to be before you. The evidence will show that this defendant had a means and access to mental health that most people don't. And she chose to deal with her mental health issues in the worst way. She chose to manipulate her providers, seek out the quick and easy fix when she was feeling depressed and anxious. And when she didn't get what she expected, she chose an alternate route. She sought a different doctor. She changed medications after days. She disengaged from treatment when she didn't like the plan. After only 4 months in treatment, she made a choice, a deliberate and intentional decision that she did not want to try anymore. And because no one could take care of her kids the way she wanted them to, she had to take them with her. Despite all the precision that she exhibited that day, you'll hear, the timing of it all, the swiftness of the killings, overcoming the interruption of Patrick's phone call, what she did not anticipate was that she would not be able to complete the act by killing herself. Ladies and gentlemen, people with mental illness commit crimes every day and are responsible for them. The fact that someone may suffer or have a mental illness, a mental disease or defect is not the end of the inquiry when it comes to guilt or innocence. It is whether a person can appreciate the wrongfulness or criminality of the conduct and conform their conduct to the law. Do they know what they were doing, and can they control their actions? The evidence in this case will prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this defendant coldly and efficiently executed first Dawson, then Cora, and finally Callan. One by one, she strangled the life out of each one of them. She did so with no hesitation, with deliberate premeditation, and extreme atrocity and cruelty. She is criminally responsible for the murders because the evidence will prove to you that she knew exactly what she was doing. She drew her husband out of the house, their father, so that she had the opportunity and the time to carry out these murders. She maintained the ability to control her conduct, conform her conduct, when she attempted to kill herself to escape the consequences. At the conclusion of this case, we're going to come back and we're going to ask that you return guilty of the murders of Cora Clancy, Dawson Clancy, and Callan Clancy because the defendant committed those crimes.
All right, thank you, counsel.
Damn.
Mr. Reddington, do you wish to give an opening?
I do.
This poor guy. He's so old, but he's good. Exactly. He's really good. I was surprised by how good he was.
Your Honor, I might use the easel. May it be placed in front of the TV screen so that the jurors are able to. Thank you. You know, normally, we thank jurors for time away from your life, your jobs, your family. Coming to court, listening to a trial, certainly is a service that's provided by you as citizens. But in this case, God bless you. You people are going to have to listen to some of the most horrific things. Look at some of the most horrific things. And jurors, it's a beautiful system. You pass between, as you heard Don Clerk say, you probably don't remember it, but it's old language, goes back to Old England. It says that you as jurors pass between the government then. And she places herself on her country, which country you are. You owe allegiance to nothing but your oath, your consideration, and your time, your common sense. You bring your life experience to this trial. You render a verdict. And as jurors, experience is take the job very, very, very seriously. You people will never forget this.
Sounds good, Grandma.
And thank you for that service. The government says that this is a situation, it's not a referendum on women's having babies, having postpartum psychosis, postpartum depression, but it sure as hell is. Because you're going to hear, consistent with what is told you in the instructions, consistent with the obligation that the government has when they brought this charge. Tim Cruz, the DA, right in the front row, brought this charge.
Chad.
He knew, as did his office, the facts of this case. And he knew when he brought this charge that it was going to kill the soul of this young woman. And they would bring their evidence in front of a jury that she knows that she killed these children. We'll sit here, listen to their evidence. But I suggest to you that the issue for consideration is what was going on in that woman's mind. You're going to hear evidence that, as the government said, Lindsay was a kind of a parent pleaser. She was a person that in school had a lot of friends, still has friends. You'll hear evidence to this day from the 6th grade. High school, college, nursing school. You're going to hear evidence that Lindsay, in the course of in high school, she was a high achiever, gymnastics. Stopped doing gymnastics because she hurt herself and didn't like to do the backflips and stopped doing gymnastics, but she was very athletic. You can hear evidence that right after she had the birth, the last child, within 4 or 5 days, she ran a 5K. She was very, very, very physically fit. Her life was such that she watched what she ate, watched what she did in her life as far as activities. It was one heck of a mother. She loved her children. All the things that the DA said to you about those little kids and their life and what they like, she knows 1,000 times more than what they know. And in that capacity, as a mother, daily, you'll see evidence that she would decorate rooms, that she and Patrick did have that achievement of a wonderful life. They had it all. They met in Boston. She was a young nurse out of school. He was working in his industry. They ended up falling in love. They got married, bought a nice house. And, people typically say, they're living in this mansion. No, they're living in a very, very humble house in Duxbury that they had to struggle to pay for. That house, you will see, not from the view, because it's not enough that we have photographs. On top of the photographs, we have to have a video. And on top of the photographs and the video, we have to have an auto-computerized animated display. And on top of the photographs, the video, the automated animated display, we have to get on a bus and go take a ride and look at the house where some guy and his wife are now living, that it doesn't look at all like what it looked like when Lindsay and Patrick were living there with their 3 kids. But there are videos that show what that home looked like that day, prior to that. You'll see in every room, there are things hanging on the walls, alphabets, colors, numbers, pictures of different cartoon characters, and I'm too old to even remember what they are. Movies, all sorts of toys, erector sets, trucks, all over the living room. There was no dining room. It was a large thing for the baby to be in and then surrounded by toys. Every single room had toys in it. These children were loved and nurtured and cared for by her. She didn't want to get rid of her kids because of her selfish life, as the government indicates. She loved those children right up to the time of their death. You're going to see that there's photographs in this case that you will be able to evaluate that show that. Some of them might even be in the videos that the state police took. This case is a massive production by the district attorney's office. You have the district attorneys, the assistant district attorneys, the assistants to the assistant district attorneys. You have the state police crime laboratory. You have the detectives. You have the state police armed men that will go out and interview witnesses and will investigate this case. You have the victim witness advocate, very nice lady, by the way, that deals with witnesses and people in a case such as this. It's a massive operation, and that's great. We should have that. But when you're considering the evidence, you consider the fact that you have 2 young people that were living this life, that were working, and Patrick, not because of COVID, not because of he just didn't want to work in an office anymore. He worked out of his basement. He worked in an office in the basement. He was there because of what Lindsay was going through. He was there. He lived it. and he will testify to it. He doesn't have to testify, quite frankly, and identify clothing and be distraught and placed in a position of horror in this courtroom, but he will testify to what they went through as a husband and a wife, the wife being pregnant. They had 3 kids. After the second child, she had postpartum. You're going to hear evidence that that's one of the issues that is important because that can lead to bipolar. One of the things that you don't do, which is taboo, is if you have somebody that's bipolar, you don't put them on an antidepressant, you don't put them on Zoloft, you don't put them on what's called an SSRI, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. It messes with your brain. You don't do that, but it was done in this case. The reason that Lindsay went to the doctors was in September of 2022. July and August of 2022, they were very happy, lovely little family. September, things went sideways. And she looked for, and you heard the government saying, and remember what they say in their opening, and remember that when they prepare a case, and remember how they can point at different aspects of a case to show guilt, that show that somebody's conniving. In this case, how many times we heard she faked the suicide. Faked the suicide. Little cuts, dinky little cuts, scratches you'll hear stated in the opening statement or time of the arraignment. That she asked for a lawyer. That's rich. You're going to hear evidence that she was in her bedroom after the horrific act in the basement. And that she was up in the bedroom, that she stood in front of a full-length mirror, that she took the knife that was in the kitchen that she had taken. And when she took the knife, she cut her throat in front of the mirror. This is no fake suicide. This is her when she was brought to the hospital. She was in the hospital. That's what her appearance was at the South Shore Hospital. When she's at the South Shore Hospital, she had wonderful care and treatment
Hold on.
that was able against her will.
Just so you guys know, these are pretty graphic photos. I did see this part. So if you're queasy by medical stuff, you might want to minimize your browser for the next 3 minutes, not even that.
To save her life. Big suicide, little scratches, dinky little scratches. This is a photograph that was taken at the South Shore Hospital of her neck. Photograph taken of her wrist, showing the split in the skin. Photograph showing you'll see evidence of this, the bedroom floor next to the bed with the blood. The knife next to the cup. Sadly, a gift saying because kids. You see the white residue inside the cup? That's where the pills were crushed up with leftover lemonade from the night before when she consumed that. That's the knife. This here you'll see is sleep aids. See this here, deep sleep pillow spray. She couldn't sleep. She couldn't sleep for months. More photographs of the injuries to her neck. And then, in the course of the fake suicide speculation by the police, you'll see the evidence that she hung on the window ledge and, like Spider-Man, I guess, slid down the wall of the house. You're going to hear evidence that she flung and threw herself out the window, striking her head on the ground, full ground, causing what's known as a Jefferson fracture of her neck. She shattered, exploded her thoracic spine, shattered her cervical spine, the first disc, broke every rib. And the Jefferson fracture, you'll hear evidence, is not consistent with a fake suicide by any means. Jefferson fracture is consistent with Superman when he got thrown off the horse. It's consistent with people that have the tragedy where they dive into a swimming pool as a result of which they get that fracture in their neck and they're paralyzed. She's paralyzed. She's not going to get up miraculously and walk out of this courtroom. She's paralyzed and will be paralyzed for the rest of her life. She's living her own hell. She knows what happened with those kids. And she wanted to die. When she was in the hospital, you're going to see evidence. Brigham and Women's Hospital, when they transferred her from South Shore Hospital air flight into Brigham and Women's Hospital, and she was then given the emergency room, the emergency treatment at the Brigham and Women's Hospital. You couldn't move in that room. There was so much equipment, so many wires, so many breathing tubes, so many machines, humming, banging, clicking, and she's spread out like she's crucified on the bed while she's being treated in that room, surrounded by armed police officers. Out in the hallway, guarding the hallway against what? Anyone could guess. Guarding the hallway, guarding the room, guarding the bed, standing there. She's handcuffed to the bed. She goes to Southfield Hospital. Government speculates that, again, you see how the government is able to create what they want for facts, that she is so cold and calculating that she said that she heard voices after I brought a psychologist, Dr. Zeisel, into that room to see her. I had to move heaven and earth. You'll hear evidence that they wouldn't even let her have visitors. She couldn't even see her family for over a week. The cops wouldn't let anybody near her. That room was an armed camp. I had to move heaven and earth and practically get a court order to be able to get in there and see her while she's laying in the bed. And they suggest, and will suggest, that she said, I heard voices, I heard command hallucinations telling me to kill kids and then kill myself, after she talked to Paul Zeisel as if he was telling her what to say because I'm the lawyer and I brought him into that hospital. You're going to hear evidence that Paul Zeisel is one of the most respected psychologists. You're going to hear evidence that he was embedded with the military in Afghanistan for years. You're going to hear evidence that he works for the government when there's a shooting involving the FBI, the CIA, or any of those alphabet soup cops. He's involved out interviewing these people for post-traumatic stress. I knew that he was the man to talk to this young woman in the hospital. When I finally was able to get into that room, into that hospital, he was with me. He did not tell her command voices. He, as a human being, gave her a cell phone so she could call Patrick. But you know what? You're going to hear evidence from a woman who works at Brigham and Women's Hospital. Saw Lindsay as soon as she came out of her coma. She is a woman that works with the religious services in that hospital. And the first thing that Lindsay wanted to know is, where's my family? And then she told her about what happened and told her about the command voices. And this is well before she ever met me or Paul Zeisel. So you have to keep focused on the evidence because it's so easy to manipulate. There's no fake suicide. And there was no plan to fake her sickness. This is a young woman that, with her husband, tried very hard to get the help she needed. She went and saw a doctor by the name of, oh, by the way, remember in the open, the government says she shopped around for doctors, I guess, that she wanted to get doctors to, I don't know, give her drugs or something. You can hear evidence that she went online and she looked for someone that was into neonatal post-baby delivery because she knew that she was in trouble. She couldn't sleep. She had insomnia. It wasn't just, when you get up in the middle of the night because your phone's on. She couldn't sleep. She'd only get 2 hours a night, 3 hours a night if she's lucky. As time went on. In September, she went to see Dr. Tufts. Jennifer Tufts is the name of the doctor. Jennifer Tufts then gave her a prescription for Zoloft, which is an antidepressant. It's one of those SSRIs. She didn't take the Zoloft for a couple of weeks because she was breastfeeding. She was afraid to have the baby have anything to do with drugs, but ultimately couldn't do it any longer, took the Zoloft, and was spun out of control. Well, because you can hear evidence because she was bipolar. You don't give a bipolar person Zoloft, but she got it. You're going to see what the effect was that it had on her as that week went on, as that month drove on, and she couldn't sleep, and she was unable to emote, had no emotions, had no feelings, was unable to really react to anything, but had to take care of the kids. And as the government says, well, she was able to talk to people, she was able to talk to neighbors. Sure, you're going to hear, because if they don't call them, we're going to call them. People that knew Lindsay as a mother, people that knew Lindsay, teachers of those kids, will indicate what kind of a mother she was, as will neighbors, as will friends, as will people that saw her during that period of time. You're going to hear evidence from Patrick as to the effect that this sickness had on her. She was looking into it. You're going to see her Google searches. You're going to see her Google searches go on and on and on about how to take care of postpartum. What type of drugs? Can you become addicted to benzodiazepines? What about, is it possible to have a treatment, a ketamine treatment? What do I do as far as insomnia? What do I do about my thoughts to kill myself? Ways to kill. How do you kill? What do you do to kill? Government latches onto that. Oh my God, she's looking up ways to kill. Let's make that a basis of our prosecution on this case. This is not a righteous prosecution. They're looking for every single piece of evidence that they can to show some ridiculous concept that she wanted to kill her beautiful kids because she didn't want to be a mother anymore. This is a woman that was a nurse. She worked for one of the best hospitals in the country. She was in a labor delivery. You're going to hear from labor and delivery nurses that will tell you how dedicated she was. Cora was named after the very, very first baby that she delivered as a nurse in the hospital. That's where the name Cora came from. Cora was named after her first delivery. This is a woman who did nothing in her life but dedicate her life to helping people and be a good person and a good nurse and a great mother. And as time went on, looking like anyone else would, please help me. That's what it's all about. Give me help. And so when the government will say, she was able to talk to people. She wasn't drooling. She wasn't putting tin foil inside of a hat when she was going to the schools. No, she was able to talk to people. We actually have, we meaning the government, we have video of her and Patrick and the kids at the Museum of Science. And they were actually having a good time. We also have video that shows them down at the Cape Cod, down the Cape, with the kids. And they're in bathing suits. I guess she was fine. She put on a pretty good face. So what does she do? She goes to see. September 12th of 22, she looked for a psychiatrist. That's when she hooks up, if you will, with Dr. Jennifer Tufts, early October of 22, initial appointment. October 20th of 22, reports the adverse reaction that she was having to the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor Zoloft. November 16th, she goes to the South Shore Hospital emergency room because she was so depressed and so maxed out from lack of sleep and so unable to emote. She couldn't laugh, she couldn't cry, she couldn't have any feelings. She was a robot. She went to South Shore Hospital. She was referred and engaged with South Shore Perinatal Behavioral Health. This was Patrick's mother. This is Patrick's mother, Mrs. Clancy, who's...
One thing I didn't mention that I think is important to consider while all of this is going on is that Lindsay is in the middle of a civil suit against these doctors, and rightfully so, the doctors who failed her and their hospital systems.
A nurse, well-respected nurse, wonderful woman. She works at the South Shore Hospital, labor and delivery as well. She knows Lindsay, and she told Lindsay, you got to go to this outfit here, which was the South Shore Perinatal Behavioral Health. She didn't look them up because she wanted to get drugs. She was referred by her mother-in-law, who's a nurse. She went to see these people, November 21st of 22. When she was engaged at the South Shore Perinatal Behavioral Health, she's going on one drug to the next to the next. The drugs that she was prescribed, you see here, and you'll hear evidence that, first off, Jennifer Tufts, September 15th, 22, sertraline, that's the Zoloft. Then lorazepam, October 21st, Jennifer Tufts. Then hydroxyzine, Jennifer Tufts. Lorapazan, Jennifer Tufts. Buspirone, Jennifer Tufts. Lorazepam, increase, Jennifer Tufts. Buspirone, increase from 1 milligram to 5 milligrams, Jennifer Tufts. Trazodone from another individual. Fluoxetine, 10 milligrams from another person named Julie Paul. Julie Paul worked at the South Shore Hospital when she went there to go to try to get some help from South Shore Perinatal Behavioral Health. More medications, spiraling, continuing on, down. Pat lived this, and he will testify to what they went through. At this point, at the end of November, around Thanksgiving, she's reporting disassociation and confusion. They put her on Remeron. This is around Thanksgiving. Things were so bad at this point that her mother and father came up from Connecticut and lived with them to take care of the kids, to help, because she was walking around absolutely a zombie. She would rock on the sofa, crying hysterically, banging her head into the pillow of the sofa. Patrick will tell you what he observed with her. She dealt with her parents. Her parents were there to try to help her. Is this someone that's faking because she doesn't want to be a mother anymore? The parents were there. Mother and father, wonderful people. Mother's retired. Dad took pictures of high school kids for yearbooks. They did what they could. Coming into December, after Thanksgiving, and they went, by the way, during the holidays, down to Connecticut at one point to visit with the family. But December 4th, she calls a suicide hotline seeking help. December 5th, she's evaluated by what's known as the Aspire Crisis Team. You'll hear evidence about that. December 6th, the next day, they have an appointment with Nurse Gelada. Now, Nurse Gelada comes into this action because, again, not looking for more doctors. Paul retired or left or went to another job. So all of a sudden, Nurse Paul, who was treating her and prescribing meds, leaves. Here's Nurse Gelada. She's now going to be your person you deal with. That's all. She wasn't looking for some other doctors to get additional medication. she now is dealing with Gelada. They have an appointment with Nurse Gelada, and Pat goes with her because he was so upset, and says to Gelada, "You hear evidence. Do you think possibly that she's over-medicated? Do you think somebody screwed up?" And she says, "It's possible." And then she puts her on more medication. She puts her on, okay, December of 2022, you're going to see that Nurse Gelada, who is now on this chart, is in blue. Nurse Gelada puts her on creatinine, 25 milligrams, November 30th, December 6th, diazepam, 5. December 7th, diazepam. December 7th, creatinine. December 9th, diazepam, 5. December 13th, diazepam. And then she goes back to Jennifer Tufts because they just couldn't handle dealing with Rebecca Gelada because she wanted to wean off the drugs. Gelada told her to stay the course. She ends up going through the December 19th, 21st, 22nd, dealing with creatinine, 300 milligrams of creatinine. Now, what happens is they then suggest that what she has to do is go to Mass General Hospital. She goes to Mass General Hospital. At Mass General, they say, well, you can do like a day program, or you can go to this fantastic program down in Rhode Island called Women and Infants Program. So she goes to Women and Infants Program. She goes down for a day. She sits there in a group with other mothers, and they talk. And they look at her medication, and they say, you're going to see it in the medical records. We can't really help you as postpartum, and that's what they specialize in, because you've got medications that you're going to have to clear, because the medications can be affecting you. She was there for a day. One day. They never said anything. You're not suffering from postpartum. Postpartum, every one of these doctors and nurses knew that she was suffering from postpartum. And now it's turning into psychosis. Now as she goes through the period of time, in January 5, Aliyah Goodhart from McLean Hospital puts on trazodone, 50 milligrams, lorazepam, 1 milligram, leaving the hospital. She goes to that hospital on New Year's Eve. She and Patrick decide this is it. The two of them get in their car. Family takes care of the kids. She goes to the hospital. Now it's locked wards. She goes into the hospital. She's there for 4 days. During that period of time that she's there, she's in group. She doesn't see a doctor but once. There's no discussion of medications till the very end. You'll see the medical records. If you look at the medical records, you'll see that her daughter's birthday was coming up and she wanted to leave rather than the 5th on the 4th. This is not a discharge against medical advice. They cleared her. They said, yeah, fine, you're okay, good. Good luck, go home. She went home and she went to the birthday party. The government will have witnesses apparently to show that she was able to socialize, like, hi, how are you, at the trampoline where they had the birthday party for Cora. She's still living in a nightmare. During this period of time, January 9th, back to Jennifer Tufts, puts her on diazepam. Jennifer Tufts kicks up the trazodone to 150 milligrams. January 13th, you've got Rebecca Gelada, puts her on diazepam. And by the way, when she was down at Rhode Island in the nurse and babies hospital, not a hospital, it was like a service, the people that were treating her for that one day reached out to Gelada to find out what's up with the medication, and Gelada never called them back. You're going to hear evidence, and it's in the medical records, that when she and Patrick called Gelada to say, I got to wean off this. She didn't want more drugs. She wanted off the drugs. Gelada says, stay the course. She's going on vacation. I'll see you in a week. Comes back in a week. You're going to see that now Jennifer Tufts puts her on diazepam 2 milligrams on January 16th. Amitriptyline 10 milligrams, January 16th. Diazepam and diazepam between Tufts and Gelada. The last script is diazepam 2 milligrams, January 23rd. During that period of time, you can see that on December 20th and 22nd, she was evaluated at the Women's and Infants Partial Hospitalization Program in Rhode Island. December 30th, she returned to Mass General Hospital emergency room. December 31st, that's after Mass General told her to go to the hospital, you can go to McLean. New Year's Eve, December 20th of 22, they were admitted to McLean Hospital for psychiatric treatment. January 6th of 23, was post-discharge follow-up appointment with Dr. Tufts. January 10, 16, and 23, appointment Dr. Tufts, Dr. Tufts, Dr. Tufts. Day before the killings, Dr. Tufts. These are the medications that she was on, that she had filled, that she took, that she didn't take, and apparently, according to the opening statement by the government, was manipulating the doctors, not telling the doctors. She told them that she was suicidal. She told them that she had suicidal ideation, and in December, to his and her ever dying regret, told Patrick, in the presence of her mother, that she was having psychosis thoughts of hurting the children. This is a woman that did not get the medication, did not get the medical treatment that she so deserved. This is a woman that was suffering from psychosis at the time that she went down to that basement. She had no motive. She loved her children. She intended to kill herself. She didn't fake that. threw herself out the window, goes to the hospital. You're going to see that when she's in the hospital, they said to her, you want to, what do you call it, a DNR? Do not resuscitate her with her. Absolutely did not want any DNR. Didn't want to be resuscitated, wanted to die. To this day wants to die. That's what we're dealing with on this prosecution. So you're going to hear from witnesses. It's going to be emotional. And thank you for your service. Thank you.
You did a great job.
All right, members of the jury, we're going to take the morning recess at this time. All right, I'm going to ask you to go out. Again, don't discuss the case. We'll be back here probably about 15, 20 minutes, and we'll begin with the Commonwealth case. All right, so we'll be in recess at this time.
All right, so the first witness to take the stand is her ex-husband. And just to kind of lay the foundation for those of you jumping in, welcome. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to double tap your screen if you are on your phone watching on YouTube. If you're on Kick, please make sure to subscribe and follow, and turn on the notifications so that you don't miss a live. I do this daily. We are one day behind. I had a ketamine treatment yesterday that I had to deal with, and I can't stream after that. But back to this. This is her husband at the time. Her husband was running 2 errands when this happened. He went to go pick up a medication for their daughter at CVS, and he went to pick up takeout. And he has also been one of her strongest supporters. He has said very publicly that this is not the woman he married. He saw her trying to receive help. He saw her struggling. I mean, calling the hotline that you call when you're having those feelings, being turned away. He saw all the meds piling up. And he saw her becoming worse and worse and worse. There is a GoFundMe page for her that has raised more than $1 million, to give you an idea of how much people feel for this situation. Because no mother in their right mind would do this. Now, are there mothers that do this and in their right mind? I would go as far as to say something's wrong with them. But yeah, they're sick of being moms. They want to go live a different life. We've watched Casey Anthony on this channel before. But no one thinks that was her end goal here. And what is at stake is basically whether she goes to prison or a mental health facility for the rest of her life. So with that being said, this is her ex-husband, who is now remarried and has children with his new family.
This court's now in session. Please be seated.
Your Honor, for the purpose of the record, we return back to the trial of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. All parties are present, including the defendant.
All right, well, members of the jury, thank you for your patience with us. We're now going to begin the presentation of evidence. Commonwealth, you call your first witness, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Commonwealth calls Patrick Clancy.
Good morning, sir. Can you stop right here? Raise your right hand to the clerk, please.
Good morning. Just solemnly swear that the testimony in the evidence you shall give to the court and adjourn the matter now pending between the Commonwealth and the defendant shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Now that was fast.
All right, good morning, sir. I'm going to ask you to speak into that microphone. You can be seated if you like, if you're more comfortable. Okay. All right, Commonwealth, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Yeah, my name's Patrick Clancy. It's Patrickclancy.
And what is your date of birth?
June 15th, 1988.
What city do you live in now?
New York.
And what do you do for a living?
I work in tech.
How long have you worked in tech?
Where is this white man?
14 years.
I killed it.
And were you previously married to a person named Lindsay Clancy?
Yes,
And you're divorced now, is that correct?
correct.
Do you see that person in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Could you point to them and describe something they're wearing?
It's not necessary.
She's wearing a pink shirt.
Record will reflect the identification of the defendant.
Thank you. Where did you meet the defendant?
In South Boston.
And when was that?
I think it was May 2013.
And how did you meet her?
Through my cousin.
And would it be accurate to state that your cousin had been college roommates of the defendant?
Yes.
Yes.
And at some point in time, did you start dating?
Yes.
And around what time was that?
July 2013.
Did you eventually move in together?
Yes.
Do you remember when that was?
September 2015.
And where did you live?
In Quincy.
How long did you live in Quincy?
1 year.
And where did you go after that?
Quincy.
We bought a house in Weymouth.
And how long did you live in Weymouth?
2 years.
Did you eventually get married?
Yes.
And when was that?
December 2016.
And was that while you were living in Weymouth?
Yes.
Did you have your first child when you were living in Weymouth?
Yes.
And what was her name?
Cora.
And what was her date of birth?
December 24th, 2017.
Prior to getting married, did the defendant ever tell you she had taken psychiatric medication while in nursing school?
Not that I recall.
After having Cora, did the three of you move somewhere else?
Yeah, we moved to Duxbury.
And what was your address in Duxbury?
47 Summer Street.
And do you recall when you moved there?
I believe it was July 2018.
And where were you working at that time?
I was working for a startup called Automation Anywhere.
At some point in time, did you start working for Microsoft?
Yes.
And when was that?
May 2020.
And when you worked for Microsoft, did you go to an office or did you work from home?
I work from home.
And was that from 2020 onward that you worked from home?
No, I started working from home in 2018.
2018. Okay. So from 2018 up until, let's say, 2023, you were working from home. Is that correct?
Yes.
And did you have an office in your home which you worked out of?
Eventually, yeah.
And where was that located?
In the basement.
And was that a finished basement?
Yes.
Going back to after Cora was born, do you recall the defendant having any physical issues after the birth?
Yeah.
And what were those?
I think there was a lot of tearing and she bled a lot.
Did it take her a while to recover physically?
I would say so, yeah.
Did she have maternity leave at that time?
Yes.
Where was she working?
Mass General Hospital.
And what was she doing there?
She's a labor and delivery nurse.
At that point in time, when she had Cora in 2017, how long had she been a nurse?
3 years, maybe.
And do you recall how long her maternity leave was with Cora?
That was the shortest of the 3. I want to say it was 10 or 11 weeks.
And did you have paternity leave at that time?
Yeah, I had 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay. When you went back after the 2 weeks back to work in the home, were there any issues that you noticed the defendant having?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just want to correct an earlier statement. I was working for Pegasystems when Cora was born.
Okay. And then eventually you worked for Microsoft?
Yeah.
Okay. And so after the 2 weeks of your paternity leave, the defendant was still on maternity leave, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And did she have to take any psychiatric medications at that time?
Not that I know of. She had a lot of anxiety, but
Okay. So you're saying that she had some anxiety at that time. Is that correct?
Yeah.
How did that manifest, or how did you know that?
she just really struggled with the date of going back to work.
So immediately after having Cora, as she healed physically, what was her mood like when you're both on leave?
It was great. It was good.
Good. Okay.
I mean, relatively, yeah.
And so did the anxiety start as it became closer in time to when she had to go back to work?
Yes.
How many shifts was she working at that time?
Before Cora was born, she was working at least 40 hours, maybe more. After she went back to work, it was, I think, initially just 1.
One shift?
Yeah.
And was that a 12-hour shift?
It was per diem.
Per diem.
And then she eventually did 2 shifts.
Okay.
I think it was 20 weeks.
After 20 weeks, she moved to 2 shifts?
I'm sorry. It was 20 hours a week.
20 hours a week. Okay. And so from the time she worked her way back up to 20 hours a week at work until she had your next child.
Sorry to do this. We have a bunch of new people in here. Please make sure to double tap your phone if that's how you are watching today. And if you are on your computer, just make sure to hit the like button. When I ask you to double tap, that's what it does. And subscribe. We need you to subscribe as well. All right. Thank you.
Did it remain that 20 hours per week that she worked?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. And did you have any assistance in the home during that time after she went back to work? A nanny or a babysitter?
Yeah, we had babysitters. We had a babysitter who came probably 12 hours a week.
And did that typically happen after your wife had a shift that the nanny or the babysitter would be there?
Yeah, so she could sleep.
Okay. Did the defendant work overnights?
Yeah.
And how long did you have that nanny or babysitter for?
Several years.
Do you remember her name?
We called her Miss Jen.
Miss Jen? Do you remember her last name?
Shanahan.
And then you had a second child, is that correct?
Yes.
And what was their name?
Dawson.
And what was Dawson's date of birth?
September 30th, 2019.
And was Miss Jen still helping out in the home at that time?
Yeah.
And what was Dawson's delivery like?
Pretty traumatic.
How so?
He was in I think a breech position. So he came out in I guess I don't know much about it, but not an ideal way, and it caused just significant bruising and tearing.
So again, did the defendant with this second pregnancy have some pain and difficulty physically healing from the birth?
Yeah, much more so than Cora.
Okay. And was she on maternity leave at that time?
Yes.
How many weeks leave did she have at that time?
I don't recall, but I think it was more than the traditional 12. I want to say it was 13 or 14, maybe more.
Page 13, if I may approach.
You don't have to keep telling me the pages, that's okay.
I could have you look at page 13 and just read to yourselves lines 6 through 10, and then just look up when you're finished.
Okay.
Thank you. Does that refresh your memory as to how much maternity leave the defendant had after Dawson's birth?
Yeah.
And what was it?
18.
18 weeks?
Mhm.
Is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay. And, after dealing with the physical pain of birth and starting to heal, how was her demeanor and experience during that maternity leave?
I think it was fine at first. It was always when she had to go back to work, that's when she struggled. So.
Okay. So that was a pattern that you saw after
Yeah.
the baby. Maternity leave was good, and then she'd struggle going back to work?
She just had a really hard time being separated from them.
What was the plan for how many shifts she would work or how many hours she would work after Dawson was born?
I believe it was the same thing.
And in terms of Ms. Shanahan, the babysitter, you had mentioned before that she was there about 12 hours a week. Did that stay consistent after Dawson's birth, or was it more or less?
Probably consistent.
After Dawson's birth, did the defendant ever tell you whether she was on any psychiatric medication after Dawson's birth?
No.
Did she seek treatment or tell you she sought treatment after Dawson's birth?
Yeah, she got a therapist for a short period of time, but it didn't last very long.
Did she tell you that at the time or later?
At the time.
Okay. And did she have any psychiatric hospitalizations or commitments at that time?
No.
What about after Cora's birth? Any psychiatric hospitalizations or treatments?
No.
Was there a time after Dawson's birth where she wanted to declutter your garage?
Maybe at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you assist her with that?
Yeah.
Okay. And how was that done?
We had a lot of stuff to throw away. And I think we sold some stuff on Facebook Marketplace. We just had a lot of stuff.
So did the two of you go through the items in the garage and organize it into what you would keep, what you would throw away, and what you would sell?
Yes,
And so it was very organized,
I would say so. Yeah.
and you finished the project, is that correct?
It was always ongoing.
Now, eventually you had your third child, correct?
Yeah.
And what was their name?
Callan,
And what was his date of birth?
May 26th, 2022.
Can you describe that delivery for us?
Hello, everyone.
It was
Welcome.
great. From what I could tell, it was relatively quick. It was during the day. We were both smiling after, and I don't think there was as much physical trauma.
Nothing compared to what happened with Cora or Dawson, is that correct?
Correct.
Did the defendant have maternity leave after Callan's birth?
Yeah.
And how long was that leave?
She never went back.
How long was it planned for initially?
I like
I want to
you.
say 18 weeks.
And were you on paternity leave as well?
Yes.
And how long was your paternity leave?
12 weeks.
So with Callan being born on May 26, 2022, the two of you were home with the children that summer on leave. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Hello, Germany.
What was family life like during that time period, those summer months?
It was great. We had a lot of time off. I was able to spend a lot of time with, I spent a lot of time with Cora and Dawson. So I would take them around, the playgrounds and birthday parties and stuff like that.
And what would Lindsay be doing while you were with Cora and Dawson?
Sometimes she'd come with us with Callan, but oftentimes we did kind of like a divide and conquer. So she'd be home with Callan and I'd be out with the older kids.
And what types of family activities did you all do during those summer months?
We went on a couple of vacations. We went to the beach. We went out on our boat and went to friends' houses.
During those months, when you're going to the beach and out on the boat and visiting with friends, were there any signs of anxiety in the defendant during those months?
I would say starting in September, yes, but in the previous months, not so much.
When had she been scheduled to go back to work?
I don't remember the exact date, but I think it was October.
So again, it was that pattern of as it became closer in time to go back to work,
Yeah.
she started to struggle?
Yeah.
Sorry.
During the times when she would get anxious, when it was time to go back to work and she would start being anxious, did you ever have any difficulty understanding her when she spoke?
No.
And did she ever exhibit any behavior that made you concerned enough to call a doctor or want to commit her?
No.
When she was showing this anxiety, what were you seeing in her behavior?
Just a lot of stress. There were days where she had all three kids and, there's different nap schedules and different needs. So it was just really stressful.
Okay. You're still working in the basement office at this point after Callan's born, correct?
I went back to work late August.
Okay. And when you work downstairs, how often would you come upstairs during the day?
All the time for lunch or just to say hi.
Were there times when Lindsay would ask you to hold the baby in the office while she was doing something?
So, yeah.
Okay. And were there times when you would watch one or more of the children while she took another to a doctor's appointment or to an errand or something like that?
Yeah, if it worked out with the schedule, yeah.
Yeah, that's a busy life.
What was the plan in terms of how many shifts or hours she was going to work after Callan?
I believe the plan was 2 shifts per week, but there's a lot of flexibility. She could have done really anything.
Do you recall saying previously that you were going to start off with 1 shift and hopefully move to 2?
I could imagine, yeah.
Okay. And you said there were some options, correct? What were those options if that didn't work out?
Well, I always put money aside in basically our own
Smart
maternity account, just so that if she needed more flexibility, we planned for that.
So if she needed more time off, more than what her work would provide for her, you were financially secure enough to afford that at
Yes.
that time?
2000.
During this time, in the fall of 2022, were Cora and Dawson attending preschool?
Yes.
And where was that?
Learning Sprouts,
And where is Learning Sprouts located?
Duxbury.
How often were they attending Learning Sprouts?
Full days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and a half day on Thursday.
And what was a full day? What hours?
I think it was 9 to 4.
9 a.m. to 4 p.m.?
I think so, yeah.
And what was a half day?
Like 9 to 12:30. I think they might have had some days where they started early. I can't remember.
But basically all day, working hours all day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then the mornings on Thursday. Is that right?
Right.
And who would do drop-offs for school?
We both would.
And what about pickups?
Both of us.
Together or take turns?
If you guys hear the snoring from Pearl, please let me know in the chat.
Usually we would take turns.
Now, at some point in time after Callan was born, did you hire a nanny?
Yes.
And when was that?
I think it was in August or September.
Of 2022?
Yeah.
And who was that nanny?
Lainey. I don't remember her last name.
Does Elaine Rossi sound familiar?
Yeah.
And do you recall how many days per week Elaine was going to work when you hired her?
I think it was 12 hours.
But it wouldn't be 12 hours altogether. It would be spread out over the week. Is that right?
Correct.
And who was she hired to take care of?
Everyone. But mainly it was going to be Callan.
Because Cora and Dawson would be at school?
For the most part, yeah.
That makes sense.
And what was the plan for when Elaine would work? Was it that same type of after Lindsay worked shifts or something different?
Yeah, the goal was after Lindsay would work. I mean, she never went back to work, but I think we wanted to get her just like oriented with our house and the kids. So we had her start before, and then she was amazing. She was an amazing caregiver. But eventually, we decided to let her go because Lindsay was home anyways. So.
So when you initially hired her in August or September, you said Lindsay was going back to work in October. So is that what you're?
You have to wonder if that may have like magnified, exaggerated the situation with her mental health.
Talking about that, give her that month or so, give Elaine that month or so to get situated and acclimated to the house.
Yeah.
Okay. Have the kids get used to her. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Elaine, did she also do some cleaning, laundry, and food prep?
Yeah. Yeah. She's amazing.
Now, during this time frame, and again, in the end of summer, fall period of 2022, what types of activities were Cora and Dawson doing?
Gymnastics.
Fighting each other mostly.
Are you talking about organized activities or just in general?
Organized.
Sounds good, Dina.
I only remember gymnastics.
Did they both do the gymnastics?
Yeah.
And then were they also participating, maybe not in organized situations, but in swimming, soccer, skiing, things like that?
Yeah, they were doing swimming. And yeah, Cora and Dawson did skiing. Yeah, Cora started doing soccer. She didn't really like it,
Good.
but she did a little bit.
And who took them skiing?
I did.
And as in terms of the swimming, where would you do that?
We did it at Goldfish in Rockland, I think. And then Lindsay took them somewhere in, I think, Plymouth. I don't remember where it was.
So you would each take them swimming at various times?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you also do some swimming at the Kingsbury Club?
Yes.
And what is the Kingsbury Club?
It's like a gym with a pool. And they had childcare, so sometimes they would hang out in the kids' room and we would go work out.
And is that in Duxbury?
It's on the Kingston-Duxbury line. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah.
Okay. And so you could drop the kids off at the daycare portion and go work out or swim or something like that?
Yeah, or we could go with them and go swimming.
Okay. Did Lindsay work out?
Yes.
She was very health conscious?
I think so.
And were you aware that she had been an athlete in both high school and college?
Yes.
Do you recall what she did?
Competitive cheerleading.
Now, when you were together, what type of exercise would she do or did she prefer?
She did a lot of running. She did the Peloton, and she did, there's like some program called Beachbody, I think.
Do you recall when she started Beachbody?
Maybe in the spring of 2022. I'm not
Everyone
sure.
was into that.
So right before having Callan, would that be accurate?
Probably, yeah.
Hold on. You know what? I am going to say something. So Beachbody was around like in the 90s and then it kind of like fell out. But the prosecution makes a big deal about about her, what's her face? Lindsay signing up for Beachbody and trying to recruit people. It's an MLM. So, you try to get people to join. I specifically remember there was new ownership of Beachbody because I also work within a MLM. I have my own company. I have since like 2017 and it runs itself now. But I remember in 2022, someone trying to get me to do it. So just try to remain focused throughout this trial because the prosecution will have you going 12 different ways when no one denies what happened with those babies. Like, she did it. So just something to think about.
When you returned to work, and you said that was in August, correct?
Yes.
What was the defendant's demeanor when you returned to work?
Increased anxiety and definitely, stressed out.
Do you recall describing her as slightly stressed but in good spirits?
Yeah.
And when she was stressed out, when she was showing some anxiety, how did that manifest?
I don't really know how to describe it. I guess it's just any way you can tell that somebody's stressed out. And I don't know, she would say, I'm not looking forward to going back to work. I remember once she said, it's just so unnatural to be separated from your newborn.
I'm sure it
stuff
is.
like that.
So she didn't want to go back to work? Is that what you're saying?
I think she did. It was just a really difficult transition for her.
I agree.
And do you recall attending a wedding on September 17th, 2022?
Yeah.
Oh,
And where was that wedding?
New Hampshire.
Was it just you and Lindsay that went, or did the whole family go?
We brought Kellen.
And when you were at that wedding, do you recall having a conversation with Lindsay about medication?
Yes.
What did she say to you?
We were walking downtown and she said, I think I'm going to start taking Zoloft.
And did she tell you why she wanted to start taking Zoloft?
She said, I think it's really going to help with my anxiety and with going back to work.
And did she tell you how she was going to go about getting Zoloft?
Yeah, I asked her, how are you going to get Zoloft? It's a prescription. And she said, usually just ask the doctor and they'll give it to you.
And did she tell you that she was going to see a psychiatrist?
Yeah, I believe so.
And when she did that, did she tell you who she was going to see?
No.
Did you eventually learn the name of the person who she went to see?
Months later, yeah.
Okay. And who was that?
Jennifer Tufts.
Okay. And did Lindsay tell you when she started seeing Dr. Jennifer Tufts?
No.
Did you learn, or strike that, did Lindsay tell you when she received the medication and when she started it?
No. I should correct that. It's not exactly.
Well, let me just ask a question first.
Sure.
Did you have a conversation with Lindsay about the medication she was on?
Eventually, yeah, but I didn't know the start date.
Okay. And so when did this conversation take place, this eventual conversation?
Probably the end of October.
Okay. And at that point, what did Lindsay tell you about the medication and how she was taking it?
by mouth.
I don't remember exactly, but I learned that she was taking the Zoloft, and I don't remember really too much about it after that. She was just taking it, and we were seeing how it went.
And did you notice any changes in her physically during that time frame that she was on it and you weren't aware she was on it?
At the time, no, I don't think I did.
And
It's not
did you
for
notice any
everybody.
changes in her emotionally during that time when she was on it, but you weren't aware she was on
It
it?
wasn't for me.
Yeah, she wasn't really improving. She just kind of seemed to be gradually becoming more in like a depressed state.
And how was that manifesting? What were you noticing?
It was just small things. I was planning a trip with Cora to San Francisco, and she was nervous about us going. And
It's a nice trip.
I remember we went to a Halloween event, and just leading up to it, I remember it just kind of seemed like she didn't want to go for some reason.
Okay. Now, do you recall learning that she had actually obtained the prescription the day before she told you she was going to ask for the prescription.
I did later learn that, yeah.
So she's telling you at the wedding that she is going to ask to take this medication and going to see a psychiatrist to get on that medication, but she actually already had the prescription. Is that correct?
Correct. I don't think she started taking it yet, but she already had it.
Okay. And did Lindsay tell you how long she took the medication for?
She may have. I don't remember the exact time frame. I just remember she took it for a period of time, and then her sleep started to suffer, so she stopped taking it.
And did she tell you whether or not she spoke to her provider, her doctor, about the troubles she was having?
I believe so, yeah.
And did Lindsay tell you that she was advised to double the dose of the Zoloft?
She may have. I don't remember.
Page 31. You could look at lines 20 to 22 and just look up and
Sure.
finish.
Okay, yeah, apparently she did.
Is that refresh your memory?
Yeah.
And so did Lindsay tell you that she was supposed to double the dose?
I guess she did, yeah.
Candy's a trooper. She's a great person.
Did you notice any changes in her sleep during that time when she was on the medication, but you weren't aware she was on it?
Eventually, yeah.
When was that?
I don't remember the exact dates. But she just, one night she said, do you mind? She started by saying, I'm not mad or anything, but do you mind sleeping in the basement? And letting me just sleep in our room with Callan. And then you can take the monitors down in the basement. And if Cora and Dawson get up, you can get up with them. She said, I've just been having a lot of trouble sleeping. And I'm hoping that if there's less in and out, then there'll be less disruption.
Okay. Had you noticed prior to her telling you this that she was up a lot or having trouble sleeping, like physically seeing her awake?
No, not that I recall.
And did you in fact start sleeping in the basement for a period of time?
I think I did it for 2 nights, and then she actually went down in the basement.
Okay, so then you went back up to your bedroom to sleep, is that correct?
Yeah.
And how long did Lindsay sleep in the basement for after that?
Maybe a couple weeks.
And so during that time frame, was she telling you that she was still having trouble sleeping?
Yes,
But you weren't actually down there watching her sleep. You're getting this information from her, correct?
correct.
Oh, I bet, Sarah. I don't think I'll ever get off.
Were you aware that out of the Zoloft prescription she was given, she only took 7 pills?
No.
After you had the conversation with Lindsay where she said she was going to double the dose of Zoloft, did you notice any difference in her demeanor or behavior?
I would say yes. I don't know if I connected it with the doubling of her Zoloft, but over that period of time, she just kept getting worse and worse.
And what period of time was that? What month are we in?
Mid-October to the end of December.
Okay, so she got the prescription in September, started taking it in October, took 7 pills, but was having difficulty in December. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
From this medication?
Yep. Well, I don't know which medication it was from, but yeah.
Okay. At some point in time, did Lindsay switch providers?
Yes.
And why did she do that?
Because whatever she was doing with Jennifer Tufts, it wasn't working. She was only getting worse. And she thought that it would be better if she worked with, I guess, more like a perinatal psychiatrist.
And did she get a referral or a recommendation of where to go?
I think so, yeah.
Do you know who gave her that recommendation?
It might have been my mother.
And your mother's a nurse at South Shore Hospital, correct?
Yeah.
Does she also do labor and delivery work?
Yes.
Okay. And so do you know which provider or which office she recommended?
Yeah, her name is Julie Paul.
And was she at the South Shore Perinatal Clinic?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. And do you know when that was?
I don't know the dates on that.
Do you recall saying previously that it was towards the end of November?
Yeah, that sounds accurate, yeah.
Okay. And you said she initially saw someone named Julie Paul, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And do you know how long she saw Julie Paul at that facility?
I think it was only 4 or 5 days.
And were you aware that Julie Paul left that office?
Yes.
And do you know who Lindsay saw after Julie Paul?
Rebecca Gelato.
And was Rebecca Gelada a nurse practitioner?
Yes.
Were you aware that she also saw a licensed social worker therapist named Letitia Dukes while she was at the South Shore Perinatal Clinic?
I don't recall Letitia Dukes, but it's possible.
So Lindsay never told you that she
sorry.
had therapy sessions with a person named Letitia Dukes during that time frame?
I don't remember any therapy sessions now.
Okay. After switching to Julie Paul and then Rebecca Gelada, did Lindsay start coming home with different prescription bottles?
Yes.
Okay. And were some of these medications that she came home with, were some of them during the time she was with Dr. Tufts?
I think some of them were, yeah.
And some of them were while she was with Julie Paul, is that correct?
Correct.
And then some while she was with nurse practitioner Gelada, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And would it be accurate to state that you provided the district attorney's office with a printout from CVS Pharmacy of all the prescriptions that were filled for Lindsay from September through January, September 2022 through January of 2023?
Yes.
Any objection?
No, of course not.
I wish Lindsay had tried ketamine therapy.
In members of the jury, one of the things I forgot to tell you is anything that's entered as an exhibit, you'll have with you in the deliberating room when you're deliberating. So you'll have a chance to go over that as well. So you'll have anything that's marked as an exhibit. Okay? Thank you.
Now, while she was taking these medications, the various pills, were you always with her watching and monitoring exactly what she took?
Not always, no.
Sometimes you'd see it, sometimes you wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wish you would have, Katie.
Directing your attention to February 6th, 2023, did you go to the district attorney's office and, or have your attorney go there and provide a bag of prescription medication that had belonged to Lindsay?
Yeah. I think the police took a bag of prescription medications that night, the night my kids passed away. Mm-hmm. And then there was a bag that I had in my truck that I was supposed to, nurse practitioner Gelada said you can bring them to like a police station and they get rid of them for you. But I never got around to it.
And where had you stored those in your truck?
In the center console. It's like underneath the center console that opens.
You have one of those center consoles that open up, but then there's another larger compartment below it.
Yeah.
So was it your plan to bring these to a location where they could be properly disposed?
Yeah, I didn't want to just throw them in the trash. So.
And these were all medications that had been prescribed in the past to Lindsay, but she was no longer taking, correct?
Right.
Your Honor, I don't think I have any objection to any of their exhibits, so she doesn't have to keep showing it to
Thank
me.
you,
That's
Mr.
fine.
So I'll
Reddington.
assume if you do have an objection, just
Sure.
rise, let me know. Okay, thank you.
He seems so nice.
For the record, a bag here with 9 pill bottles as exhibit 2, please.
Thank you.
Art, make sure to subscribe to my channel.
And so,
Sorry, really quick, guys. For those of you who don't know, I'm currently going through 6 sessions of ketamine therapy for, this is actually for pain, but I've done it before for depression, and it saved my life. And in this situation, it helped me 100 times over with my pain. My next session is Thursday at 10 a.m. So if you are interested in learning what it looks like or asking questions, please make sure to subscribe. And while we're at it, please don't forget to double tap your screen because I know that you're watching on your phones, and that gives me a like. All right, thanks, guys.
looking in exhibit 2, we have the Zoloft that was prescribed by Dr. Tufts and filled on September 15th, 2022. And I think I asked you earlier, you weren't aware that only 7 pills were taken out of this, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And then there's another prescription in here for Ativan that was filled on October 26, 2022. Were you aware that only 6 pills were taken out of that bottle?
Can you say the date again?
October 26, 2022.
And how many did it start with?
Let me see.
Yeah, the B spar really helped me on top of an SSRI. It really helped.
30 pills.
Not a
Okay.
not a doctor.
I mean, I don't have those exact numbers on how many she took, but there were adjustments made on the dosage of the Ativan.
Mhm.
So that aligns with
But the question was, were you aware that only 6 pills were taken out of this prescription?
No,
Ativan's
but I think the
pretty
context is important.
Okay. Were you aware that there was a prescription for buspirone or Buspar filled on October 26, 2022, in which only 2 pills were taken out of the 30 that were prescribed?
I found out about the Buspar later, and I didn't know about the number of pills taken.
And then were you aware that there was a prescription for hydroxyzine, a prescription filled on October 26, 2022 for 30 pills, and that only 3 pills were taken out of this bottle?
Which
Hydroxyzine?
Yeah, what is that?
I believe it's in some type of, similar to an antihistamine, like Benadryl or something like that.
Oh, okay. I don't really recall much about that drug.
Okay. And
Oh my God, Candy.
were you aware in this bag there was another prescription for Buspar that was filled on November 9th, 2022, 30 pills prescribed, and no pills were taken out of this bottle. Were you aware of that?
I wasn't keeping track of the number of pills taken out of each bottle.
Okay.
So
And then
You would.
just ask you about one more, the trazodone prescribed on November 16th, 2022 by a doctor from South Shore Hospital, 30 pills. Were you aware that only 7.5 pills were taken out
There
of
you
this
go.
prescription?
I put it on
No.
the screen.
So there were a lot of pills prescribed, but not a lot of pills taken, correct?
is that comprehensive of all the pills that were prescribed?
These are the pills that you brought into the police station. So out of these,
Out of those, yeah, it's possible that not a lot were taken.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
do you recall what was the most amount of pills prescribed? I guess I could ask this better. What was the maximum number of medications she was on at any one time?
I want to say 3 or 4.
Would it surprise you to know that she, at any given time, the most she was prescribed was 3, but most of the time it was 2 medications that she was prescribed at any given time?
It wouldn't be terribly surprising, no.
Now, on November 16th, 2022, did Lindsay visit South Shore Hospital?
Yes.
Okay. And why did she go to the South Shore Hospital that day?
I believe that day it was because she basically went 48 hours without sleeping.
And was she having heart palpitations?
I think so, yeah.
Were you aware that she had taken a weed gummy that day?
I don't recall.
And are you aware that she didn't tell medical staff at the hospital when describing her symptoms and her medication that she left out that she had used marijuana?
Oh my God,
I
are
wasn't
we
with her,
going
so
there?
I don't know what she talked about at the hospital.
So she drove herself to the hospital,
She did.
and she drove
Yeah.
herself home from the hospital then? Is that
Yeah.
correct? Now, during this time frame between September and November of 2022, are you still participating in activities as a family?
Between November and December?
I can promise you that gummy was the least of her problems. Am I right?
Between September and November.
Yeah.
Okay. And what types of things were you doing?
We celebrated Halloween.
Third baby was good.
I don't really remember what else,
Yeah.
but I think we're doing things regularly.
No, go on.
Do you recall going to an event with food trucks?
Yeah.
And do you recall going to an event in November where there were trains to ride with the kids?
Yeah.
So we have the photo from the food truck event, Exhibit 3. And the photo from the train event, Exhibit 4. 3 and 4 somewhere. And they published.
You may.
So Exhibit 3 is this Lindsay, Core, and Callan at that event.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And
guys.
Exhibit 4, just Lindsay with all 3 kids at that event in November.
Yeah.
Did you have plans for Thanksgiving that year?
Yeah.
What were your plans?
I believe the order was we went to Wallingford where her parents lived in the week before, and then the week after we went to my sister's house,
And where did your sister live? What town?
South Hamilton.
And that was a week after Thanksgiving, is that right, correct?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, it was.
Melissa, this is from yesterday, but I normally do it live. I just
And
didn't do
is
it
this
live
a photo from Thanksgiving at your sister's house?
Yes.
I could have this photo marked as Exhibit 5, I believe.
All right, that may be marked.
5. Showing you what's been marked. Exhibit 5. Is this Lindsay here on the left?
Yes.
And are those your sisters in the photo with her?
That's one of my sisters and my sister-in-law.
Okay. And have they coordinated outfits for the day?
Sorry.
The shirts.
Yeah, I think my sister did.
Hot.
What was Lindsay's demeanor that day?
She was in rough shape.
Rough shape?
Yeah.
How so?
She wasn't talking much. She had low energy. She was really depressed. I just remember when she showed up, my sister-in-law gave her a big hug.
And she was able to get through dinner, eat dinner with everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. She interacted with people, is that correct?
I would say very little, but to some degree, sure.
And she took care of the kids with you while she was there?
We both took care of the kids together.
You mentioned earlier that your wedding anniversary is in December, is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you recall going out for your anniversary on December 3rd, 2022, going into Boston?
No, we didn't go out.
You don't recall arranging for a massage for Lindsay and then going to the Omni Parker house and going out to dinner that night?
No, December 3rd, 20.
If you've ever dealt with mental health problems, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I don't go out. And the last thing I would want is someone giving me a massage. Like, don't touch me. Don't even friggin' look at me.
22, we stayed home.
You stayed home, okay.
Maybe it's just me. You're so welcome. Thank you for being here and commenting. Commenting helps so much.
Showing you a photo of you and Lindsay. You recognize this photo?
Yeah.
And when was that taken?
I'm not really sure.
It wasn't taken on December 3rd when you were out celebrating your anniversary?
In 2022?
Yes.
No. No, we wanted to go out, but we canceled because she wasn't feeling well. So we stayed home. We got takeout.
Okay. Did you also, on November 26th, 2022, go out as a family to get a Christmas tree?
Yes. Well, probably. I don't know. But yeah, around that time, yes.
Art, I'm responding to your comment in the chat. Give me one moment.
Showing you 2 photos. Are these from that day when you got the Christmas tree?
Yeah, that looks accurate.
You can have the first photo of all 5. 6. And then the second one is Exhibit 7. Exhibit 7. Showing you Exhibit 6. This is all of you at the tree farm.
Yeah.
And Exhibit 7, those are the kids.
Yes.
Make sure to subscribe as well if you haven't done that.
Around December 6th, 2022, did Lindsay tell you she was starting a new medication?
This poor
I don't
guy.
remember specifically.
Is it that you don't remember the date or you don't remember her starting a new medication?
I'm not sure.
Do you remember Lindsay telling you at some point she was starting the medication Seroquel?
Yes.
Do you remember around what time frame that was?
I thought it was before December 6th.
Okay.
Wow.
And do you recall how she was physically after starting the Seroquel?
Awful.
How so?
That was really where her big spiral started. She started to lose a lot of weight, and she became very depressed, and she was having a really hard time.
And did she describe to you some thoughts or feelings that she was having at that time?
Yeah, she started to say she was suicidal.
And was that in December of 2022?
I think so, yeah.
And when she told you she was suicidal, did you ask her if she had a plan on how to kill herself?
Yes.
And what was her response?
She said no.
And did she ever mention a specific way or plan she had to kill herself to you?
No.
And at some point in time, did she tell you that this was the first time she had suicidal thoughts?
I don't know if she mentioned it was the first time or not. I just remember her saying she had them.
Had you ever heard her say that to you before, that she was having suicidal thoughts?
No.
Did you own at that time a Surface Pro, a type of tablet that works as a laptop?
Yeah.
And who had access to that laptop?
We both did.
Okay. You and Lindsay?
Yeah.
And going back to August 22nd, 2022, did you click on a link on that Surface Pro that was titled Methods of Suicide?
Not that I recall.
And August 22nd, 2022, that was before Lindsay had been on any medications, as far as you know, correct?
Correct.
Going back to December, she's told you that she's having these thoughts. What's your reaction when she tells you that she's having these suicidal thoughts?
I just wanted to support her. I asked those questions back to her, and her mother was coming up pretty regularly anyways, so we let them know, and we just try to be supportive.
Did she also tell you at that time, at the beginning of December, that she was having some other intrusive thoughts?
Yeah.
Is that how she described them or how you described them, intrusive thoughts?
I would say both.
Okay. And when she told you that she was having intrusive thoughts, did you ask her what they were?
Yeah.
And what was her response?
She described thoughts of hurting the kids, or them having some sort of ailment. So like she was very worried that Cora whenever she had a stomach ache, she became overly worried that she was had like a liver problem or something much more dramatic than it was.
Okay. But going back to that first part, she said she had thoughts of harming the kids. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And did she tell you whether or not she had specific thoughts of how she would harm the kids?
No.
And she didn't describe that as hearing this external voice telling her to harm the kids, correct?
Correct.
She told you she was having intrusive thoughts herself of harming the children, correct?
Correct.
And did you ask her how she was going to harm the kids?
I didn't ask it in that way. It was the same thing. I said, do you have a plan, and is it disturbing to you? And she said no, and then she said yes. And
let me go back for a minute there. You said, do you have a plan? And she said no. What was the second part of the question?
I said, do you find it disturbing? Okay. And she said yes. And she described it as really the way she was describing it as something that might happen to the kids.
So it was more something might happen than she might do something. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And did she tell you how long she had those thoughts for?
She didn't give a duration.
And how many times did she tell you this, that she had thoughts of harming the kids?
A couple times.
And was that a couple times over the course of a night or two in December?
Yeah.
And as a result of her telling you this, that she had thoughts of harming the kids, what did you do?
Her parents came up, and I think I asked her at some point, do you feel like you need to be kept away from them? And she said no. And then, it was very confusing because a minute later she was making them lunch or playing with them or, getting ready for bed or whatever it was.
So it was confusing in that she wasn't physically harming them at the time, but had these thoughts. Is that what you're saying?
Right. I never saw Lindsay harm the kids.
And did you also, as a result of these statements, suggest an appointment with nurse practitioner Gelada?
it wasn't as a result of these statements. That appointment was set up because we were at her parents' house in Wallingford for Thanksgiving, and she just described how she was feeling on the medication, and she felt that she was addicted to them.
Was that the benzodiazepines that she thought she was addicted to?
Primarily, and then she was taking Seroquel at the same time, and she might have been taking Trazodone or Remeron. I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you recall testifying previously that I called her parents to come up to stay with us, and I told her that I asked her who her doctor was because I was very concerned at this point. She was prescribed 10 different medications in just over 2 months, so it didn't make sense to me. And then you said, so after her parents came up, she said, I have a remote meeting with Rebecca Gelada, and you said, no, it has to be in person.
Yeah, I felt like it had to be in person because I just felt like there was a disconnect. I felt like we could figure it out. Whatever was going on.
I think that's a fair
it seemed like most of her telehealth appointments were pretty quick, and there just wasn't like a lot of attention. And
Were you present for these telehealth visits?
only a few of them, and they were after that meeting with Gelada.
Okay. And that appointment in person with Gelada was December 6th, 2022. Is that correct?
That sounds correct.
So the thought of harming the kids was after Thanksgiving, but before December 6th. Is that correct?
That sounds correct.
Were you concerned for the kids' safety at that time?
No, I wasn't,
And why not?
because she wasn't showing any intention of harming the kids.
And she told you she didn't have a plan. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, directing your attention to December 15th, 2022, did Lindsay go to Mass General Hospital to the emergency department that day?
Yeah.
Okay. And why was that?
I remember the reasoning being she told her dad that she wanted to commit suicide, and then she said to me, I told my dad I want to die, and it didn't bother me at all.
And
People get shamed for having mental
as a
health
result of those
problems all the
statements,
time. Right.
you brought her, or did she bring herself to Mass General?
I think I brought her that time.
And at Mass General, she saw medical staff, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And did they recommend to her?
In case you guys forgot, Mass General is where she worked.
Some type of admission to McLean Hospital?
I remember there was one doctor who was in favor of that, and there were two others who were more in favor of a day program.
Okay. And did they give you information about a specific day program?
Yeah, it was Women and Infants in Providence.
And at that time, when Lindsay was saying that she was suicidal, was she asked if she had a plan?
By the doctors?
Or by you?
I was always checking in with her, and she never told me that she had a plan. I'm not sure what the doctors asked her.
Okay. And after being at Mass General on December 15th, did she go to Women and Infants Hospital in Rhode Island to attempt to get into their postpartum program?
She was already in. She went in as scheduled.
Okay. And but she didn't remain in, correct? She was just there for a day?
Correct.
Okay. And did she go by herself? Did you go with her?
I dropped her off, and then I took Dawson skiing.
Okay. And at some point in time, did Lindsay reach out to you to say she wasn't staying at the program and to come pick her up?
She actually said that the providers at that program suggested to her that she call me and have her come get picked up, and then that I should go in and meet with the providers.
Okay. And then after you picked her up, she was no longer in the program at that point, correct? At Rhode Island Women and Children's, right?
Well, we discussed it with the doctors, and their recommendation was that the program wasn't right for her.
Right. And so you guys returned home, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God.
And during this time frame in December, Lindsay's still working out at the Kingsbury Club, correct?
That might be true. I don't recall exactly, but yeah.
Do you recall her going to the Kingsbury Club on December 6th, 13th, 16th, 17th, or 18th?
I mean, I believe that can be true. Yeah, I don't recall those exact dates, but yeah.
At this time when she's saying that she's feeling suicidal, she's telling you she doesn't have a plan, correct?
Mm.
She's no longer saying she has any thoughts of harming the children, correct?
Correct.
She's still bringing the children to doctor's appointments during that time, right?
Yeah.
Do you recall her bringing Callan and Dawson to the doctors on December 2nd when they weren't feeling well?
Yeah.
And then she was able to call the doctor's office on December 27th and make an appointment for Callan and Cora when they weren't feeling well. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And take them to the doctor, I believe, with you, correct?
Maybe, I don't know.
And then on December 30th, she was able to take Callan to the doctor that day as well and interact with the staff. Is that correct?
Blame dad.
Probably.
Then you returned to Mass General Hospital, the emergency department, on December 31st. Is that correct?
Yes.
And why did you go back on the 31st?
Because she was still talking about thoughts of suicide, and I was exhausted. I said, I think it's time to go to McLean. And we didn't have a diagnosis. So we just didn't really know what was wrong. And I think for me, I was hoping that McLean could really evaluate her and try to figure out the best path forward.
Okay, so the path to getting to McLean was to go to the emergency department at Mass General and be referred to McLean. Is that correct?
Yes.
Were you aware that night while at the hospital, Lindsay was taking selfies?
No.
Right, that may be admitted, or they may be admitted.
From your exhibit 8, taking a selfie at the hospital, is that correct?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
she
the second
looks
page
like she's
is
having a great
Her
time.
legs in the doorway, is that correct?
Yep.
What?
As a result of going to Mass General and telling them about her suicidal thoughts, was she transferred to McLean Hospital?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you stay with her throughout that transfer process, or were you able to?
I was not able to. For some reason, they transfer. I don't know if they do this with all patients, but she was transferred at 3.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm about to give away some memberships, so please make sure to subscribe in order. You have to subscribe and like this stream in order to be eligible to receive one. So I will give those away at 3:00. Thank you.
In the morning.
Double tap.
And so she reached McLean in the early morning hours of January 1st then of 2023. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you visit her at McLean Hospital?
Yeah.
How often did you see her there?
I think I was able to go twice, or maybe 3 times.
And do you remember, what visiting hours were or what hours you visited?
I don't remember exactly, but it was, something like 2 to 6. And I think there were morning hours, but you couldn't just go anytime.
You couldn't or could?
You could not.
Okay. And so you, out of the few days that she was there, 5 days she was there, you visited 2 or 3 times. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And while you were there with her, did Lindsay talk to you about the treatment that she was receiving at McLean Hospital?
She told me about her experience. It didn't really seem like she was getting any treatment.
Okay. Did she tell you that she wasn't really getting any treatment or wasn't getting as much care or treatment?
My AirPod died. Sorry. Hello?
As she wanted?
Well, I think by the 3rd day, I said, what have the doctors said? And she said, I haven't met with the doctor. The challenge was she arrived on a Saturday, and then
That's
I think
always
Monday
hard.
was an observed holiday, so she didn't see a doctor until Tuesday. So until then, she was coloring and playing with clay and going for walks.
Were you aware that she was seen by a resident, a doctor, the first 2 days she was there, and then an attending on the 3rd day that she was there?
No.
Were you aware that she was seen by a licensed social worker, group therapist, and other mental health workers every day while she was there?
Yeah, I didn't get any updates.
Were you aware that she was offered one-on-one therapy by unit staff every day that she was there?
No.
Did you know that she participated in group therapy on January 1st for 45 minutes, a session about illness and symptom management?
I was aware of some group activities. I didn't know the details of it.
And were you aware that she participated in 2 group therapy sessions, one for 45 minutes and one for 50 minutes, one on self-compassion and one on illness and symptom management on January 3rd?
I wasn't aware of the subject of any of the meetings now.
Were you aware that she declined further group therapy and treatment in the afternoon of January 3rd?
No.
Were you aware that on January 4th, she participated in a group for 40 minutes called medication management?
No.
Were you aware that she participated in a group on January 5th on expressive therapy for 45 minutes?
No.
And were you aware that she declined further treatment 2 times on January 5th, one to attend group therapy and one to attend a session on cognitive behavioral processes?
No.
Were you aware that Lindsay asked the doctors to be discharged on the 6th, Friday the 6th, because she wanted to go to Cora's birthday party on the 7th?
Not that I recall.
Were you aware, or did Lindsay tell you that she then asked the doctors to discharge her on January 5th because she wanted to go home and get ready for the party?
I wasn't aware of Lindsay asking the doctors to be discharged.
Okay. Were there any insurance issues in terms of insurance refusing to pay for her stay at McLean Hospital?
We didn't really get to that point.
You weren't advised by the social worker or any staff there that there were any issues with your insurance, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, but I wouldn't have cared either.
Would you have just paid for it if needed?
I would have paid anything. Yeah.
Ms. Sprague, is this a good time to break?
Yes.
All right, so members of the jury, we're going to break for the afternoon recess. And we'll see you back here about 2 o'clock. Okay?
Court, all rise. Court, close your notebooks, place them on your chair.
All right. Only a little bit left, guys. I love doing it a day behind.
So sorry, if you could just tell us a little bit about Cora's interest at that time.
Cora was into princesses. And she had a lot of friends. And she just liked taking care of people.
And showing you Dawson, correct?
Yes.
What kind of things was Dawson interested in 2023?
He was into firefighters and trucks.
Sounds like he's having a panic attack.
He liked Paw Patrol.
Exhibit 11, Alan. He's only 8 months old, correct?
Correct.
Did he have any disorder?
He was just a happy baby.
Baby. And then just showing you quickly exhibit 12. Does this picture clearly indicate their sizes in relation to each other in January 2023?
Yes.
After Lindsay was released from McLean Hospital, was there a birthday party for Cora on January 7th, 2023?
Yes.
And who had organized that birthday party?
I think we both did.
And where was it?
It was at Nova in Plymouth.
And was Lindsay present for the party?
Yes.
And do you recall who got all the supplies and everything for the party?
I think Lindsay did.
We could play a video. I'm going to ask you to look at a video and just tell me if you recognize this as a video from the party. Or was that from the party?
Yeah.
And was that Cora seated in front of Lindsay while singing Happy Birthday?
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a second clip. Again, was that Cora and Lindsay?
Yeah.
Hope to have the birthday videos as the next exhibit.
That may
I
be a
felt
minute.
myself getting choked up
13
too.
so far. From Cora's birthday party until January 23rd, 2023, did you check on and check in with Lindsay?
Every day.
And how did you do that?
I would ask her in the morning how she's feeling, how she slept.
And did she tell you that she was sleeping better?
Maybe a little bit better, but she was still struggling.
And Did you ask her during that time if she had suicidal thoughts?
Yeah.
And what was her response?
She told me no.
She told you what?
She said no.
No. Did she ever tell you during that time period that she was having thoughts of harming the children?
No.
Did you as a family go to the Museum of Science on January 8th, 2023?
Yes.
Was the defendant able to participate in activities with the children while at the museum on January 8th?
Yes.
I'm going to pull up some photographs. Just ask you to ID or identify everyone in the photograph so that the jurors can follow their movements through the video footage and video. So if I may, down here in the maroon colored shirt,
It's Dawson.
Dawson, okay. And in the red skirt,
Cora.
and in the gray jacket,
Lindsay.
and here, pushing the carriage,
That's me.
and is Callan in the carriage at that time?
Yeah.
And permission to play the video, Your
Can I
Honor.
see again sidebar?
Sidebar. I don't think this is a long sidebar. Hold on. Uh, 5:24. Oh, it is. Okay. Glad I looked.
Your Honor, at this time, we've moved to submit the still photograph and the video pursuant to the discussion at sidebar. I'd move to submit the full video in as one exhibit for identification and the timeline video as the exhibit.
Hey guys, there's only like a half an hour left. So at the end of the stream, I will do the membership giveaways just to give people more time to double tap their phone screens to like this and to subscribe. All right, thank you.
Timeline. Did we, you submit a copy of that later?
No, there's a full video that was provided by the
Right.
Museum of Science, and then there's a timeline that was created following the family through the museum. And you can get snippets from this video.
Okay, that's fine.
So for identification. Museum of Science meeting. Exhibit C, so mark. And then museum timeline for the next exhibit, exhibit 14. Sir, after going to the Museum of Science, well, let me go back to that for a moment. At the Museum of Science, do you recall the defendant being able to interact with the children at exhibits that required manipulating knobs and materials and showing the children how to do those exhibits and interacting with them at those exhibits?
Yeah, Lindsay was always able to interact with our kids, including at the Museum of Science.
And then after your trip to the Museum of Science, do you remember going to the Charlie Horse restaurant with the kids and Lindsay?
Yes.
And how soon after the Museum of Science was that? Do you recall?
I don't recall the exact dates.
Okay. And what type of place is the Charlie Horse restaurant?
It's like a family restaurant with games.
And how was the defendant's demeanor at the restaurant?
It was good. I was hopeful
Why were you hopeful?
because she seemed much better.
And then on January 14th, 2023, were you able to go to brunch with your friends while the defendant was home with the children?
Yeah.
And about how long were you gone?
About 2 hours.
Were there any issues or problems that you were aware of while you were gone?
No, she encouraged me to go. She said, "You've just been inside a lot. You should go out," and it was fine.
And while you were there at brunch, she send you photos of the kids and text messages?
I think so. Yeah.
Direct your attention to January 15th, 2023. Did you and Lindsay and the kids go to the Cape Cod in Hyannis?
Yeah.
And was there a water park there?
Yeah.
And how was Lindsay's demeanor that day?
It seemed pretty good.
Was she able to interact with the children and participate in the activities?
Yes.
I could bring up photos. Again, I would just like you to look at the photos to point out who the individuals are in the photo. So here in the dark shorts with the white band on the top,
It's me.
and then in the bathing suit here with the
It's
ponytail,
Cora.
and then in the striped swimsuit at the bottom.
It's Dawson.
Sorry, guys.
And then here in the black bathing suit without shoulder straps,
Lindsay.
Lindsay. And is that was Cora with her?
Yes.
And in this third photo, is that Lindsay with Callan in her arms?
Yeah.
And that photo there is that Dawson with the striped bathing suit.
Yep.
We can go to the video with the court's permission.
Go on.
I'm just going to go to certain clips. If we could start with from the beginning to 40 seconds in and play. Sir, if you could tell us who, well, can you confirm that that's you and the children and Lindsay arriving now?
Yes.
So many kids.
Would that be Cora in the purple jacket with the pink boots
Yes.
and Lindsay in the gray coat with the backpack?
Yes.
And then if we could go to 139.
Someone's snoring. Oh, that's Pearl.
And during this time, are you waiting to check in and get your wristbands and all of that?
Yeah.
So that's Lindsay in the coat. Exactly, Candy.
We could go to 647. Do you recognize this play area?
Yes.
And did you and Lindsay and the children go over to this hardship area?
Yep.
Showing you here, is that Cora that just went down the slide?
Yeah.
That looks like a blast.
And is that you there by the slide?
Yeah.
We can go to 1122. Let's see.
Oh, you've gone there, Grandma. It's almost like I can hear the squeals from here, you know? Kids love this stuff. You're right, Kaylee.
We could go to 1406. Oh,
That's what I was thinking, Candy, like the joys of children's laughter and giggles. All right.
16:25.
I don't know why we're watching this. Like,
So here at 16:25. That Cora and then Lindsay that go down the slide together.
Yeah.
We can go to 17:45.
The parents and the grandparents. I can't even imagine watching this. Hi, Pearl.
But the same thing here.
Yeah.
So she's able to interact with Cora and the others, participate in the activities.
Yeah.
If we could go to 47:53, please. You're up in the corner here.
Yeah.
Is this you and Dawson and Cora entering the pool area?
Yeah.
Lindsay was with Callan at that time, correct?
Yes.
So you were comfortable with her being off in a separate area with Callan while you were with Cora and Dawson that day?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all. Thank you. I move to submit the pod photos and timeline.
Again, let me just see over here just briefly, just so I have that straight.
Oh, this is the one that's the short break. 5:43. Did I get it? There we go.
So is it the exhibit with the guidelines at sidebar?
All right, pursuant to our discussion, that portion may be admitted.
15 somewhere.
What's that, 15? Okay, thank you.
Sir, directing your attention now to January 16th, 2023. Did you go skiing that day?
Yeah.
And who did you go skiing with?
Cora.
And was it just the two of you?
No, we went with another dad and his son,
Okay. And who was that dad?
Adam Schwabach.
And was Lindsay home with Callan and Dawson that day when you went skiing with Cora?
Yeah.
Okay. Were there any issues or problems that you're aware of when she was home alone with the kids all day?
No.
And was she able to communicate with you throughout the day?
Yeah.
And how was that communication done?
Text. I might have called her. I'm not sure.
And do you recall texting each other back and forth photos of you with Cora and the boys at home and what they were doing?
Yeah.
And so she was able to take those photographs and send them to you without any apparent problem, correct?
Correct.
Show you the 3 text messages with the attached photos.
What I always say, just imagine what it would be like to be judged for something you did on your worst day.
And sir, are these accurate copies of the text messages with the photos that were sent between yourself and the defendant on January 16th, 2023?
Yes.
If I could move to have these marked as the next 3 exhibits.
They may be admitted.
Hi, best friend. Come here.
Exhibit 16, 17, and 18?
Oh, she's not out on bail. She's in a hospital facility.
And so, sir, showing you the first photo, which was marked on exhibit 16. Did you start off the conversation by sending the photo of you and Cora skiing?
Yeah.
And showing you exhibit 17, did Lindsay respond by taking and sending this photo of Dawson?
Yeah.
And then did she respond again, sending you a selfie she took of herself and Callan?
Yeah.
And you felt comfortable leaving Callan and Dawson home with her that day?
Yeah.
And why is that?
She seemed to be doing a lot better.
In what ways did she seem to be doing better?
Her mood seemed better. She was more active, and she was able to partake in more things.
She was also going to the gym during that time as well, correct? The Kingsbury Club?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Were you hopeful at that time that things were getting better?
Yeah.
Did Lindsay's parents visit you the weekend of January 21st through the 22nd?
Yeah.
And whose idea was that? Do you recall?
I think it was theirs. I think they were just coming to visit to say hi.
And what did you guys do that weekend?
We just hung out and went to a friend's house on Sunday. They left after we got back from there.
And whose friend's house did you go to that Sunday?
The Carneys.
Carneys, okay. And who went to the Carneys?
Lindsay, myself, Dawson, and Cora.
And what did you do there?
There was a fire and I think we roasted marshmallows or something like that.
Okay. And how was Lindsay's demeanor that day?
She was quieter that day. So, I mean, that was the extent of it.
Was she able to interact with the Carneys?
Yeah, but she's quiet.
Okay. And you said you returned home and then her parents left?
Yeah.
Keep in mind, this is the day that she committed this crime.
Do you recall Lindsay and her mom taking a picture together that weekend?
Yeah.
Is this that photo?
Yeah, that's it.
You could have this marked as the next exhibit.
That may be admitted.
Exhibit 19. And Lindsay seemed to be doing better that weekend, correct?
Overall, yeah.
Were you aware that her mother had sent her a text saying something to the effect of, "I'm glad you're doing so much better"?
I became aware of that later, yeah.
And just showing exhibit 19. And I'm sorry, Your Honor, I didn't mark the still photo from the Museum of Science. If we could have that as the next.
Sure.
Exhibit 20.
Steve,
Thank you. That Monday, after her parents had gone home to Connecticut, so Monday the 23rd of January, did Cora and Dawson go to school?
Yeah.
And do you recall Lindsay picking them up that afternoon?
Yeah.
When Lindsay returned home with Cora and Dawson, did she discuss with you that Cora was having some stomach issues at school?
Yeah.
And were you familiar with the stomach issues that Cora had been having?
Yep.
And did you have an idea of what was causing those stomach issues?
Yeah, it wasn't unusual. She was embarrassed to go to the bathroom at school, so she just held it all day.
Okay. And so this was a common occurrence?
Yeah.
And were you aware that Cora had her 5-year physical scheduled for the next day, Tuesday the 24th?
No, I didn't know that was already scheduled. I thought she called it in and set it up. So that's news to me.
Okay. So would it have been Lindsay who would make those kinds of appointments, the physicals and all of that?
She usually handled that, yeah.
Okay. And going to Tuesday, January 24th, 2023, were you working that day?
I'm sorry, you said on the 24th?
Yes, Tuesday
Yeah.
the 24th.
Yeah.
That morning was Cora's doctor's appointment at 8 a.m.?
Yeah.
And who took her to the doctor's appointment?
Lindsay.
And did anyone have to go with her, or did she drive herself and Cora there?
It's just Lindsay and
the
Cora.
lighting is
And
awful in
you were
this
home with the boys,
room.
is that right?
Yeah.
And while you're with the boys and Lindsay's with Cora at the doctor's, are you sending text messages and photos back and forth?
Yeah.
And why did you send a photo of Dawson to Lindsay that morning?
Because he dressed himself completely for the first time.
And he was excited about that?
Yeah.
Yes, Dina, but a lot of people, they just.
And did she
think
respond
that
back with a photo of Cora?
Yeah.
Are these the photos you sent back and forth?
Yeah.
I could have the photo of Dawson as the next exhibit and the photo of Cora as the following.
All right, they may be admitted.
Is 21 and 22 somewhere? Publishing these. Exhibit 21. And exhibit 22. And while you were texting with Lindsay back and forth, were you able to understand her text messages?
Yeah.
Did she seem to understand yours in response?
Yes.
Did she return home?
Yes.
And do you recall around what time she got home that morning?
8:30.
And once she got home, what did you do?
I think I got ready for work.
And while you were downstairs working in your office, do you know what Lindsay and the kids were doing?
They built a snowman and they did some art projects.
And how did you know this was happening?
She texted me a picture.
So Lindsay was continuing to text you and send you photographs throughout that day?
Yeah, and I went up to say hi at one point.
Okay. First, I just want to show you the text messages back and forth. The text being on the right-hand side. If you want to look through there and just see if you recognize the messages going back and forth between you and Lindsay that morning.
Okay, well, okay. My chat needs to chill out with the horrible animal stories. Troll Steve was just trolling you guys. Okay, all right. As I said earlier, like someone will see a clip of me laughing during this and think, oh my God, she has no soul. She's heartless. If I sat here crying this entire time, it would do nobody any good. I've been following this for years. I know what's about to happen. Okay, I'm done ranting. Now is your last chance, by the way, to subscribe to the channel in order to receive a chance to get a free membership. And thank you, Zach, for the jewels.
Right. This is activity sensor.
Excuse me?
I think this is something else.
Let's see. So starting at 7 a.m. on the 24th, and we go to 8:17 a.m. This is the photo you sent
Yeah.
to Dawson, and then the replies going to 8:18 a.m. Is this the reply from Lindsay? And then throughout the day, just messages back and forth up to the point. Page 940, where Lindsay's sending you the photos of the kids in the snow. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. We could have the text messages marked as the next
All
exhibit.
right, that may be admitted.
Here's my brief synopsis on the screen.
And just look at one photo. This is one of the photos you sent.
Thank you, Grandma.
We could have the photograph marked as the next exhibit.
That may be admitted.
Exhibit 4. How often do you think or do you remember going upstairs that day to interact with Lindsay and the kids?
Once or twice. It was a busier day than usual.
And when you did come up to interact with them, how was Lindsay's mood?
She seemed happy.
Happy? And how could you tell that? What was she doing?
She was playing with the kids, and she seemed in a good mood.
At any point during that day when you came up or while she's texting you, did she tell you she was having suicidal thoughts?
No.
Did she tell you she was having thoughts of harming the kids?
No.
Did she ask for help or anything that caused concern?
No, she was having one of her best days.
One of her best days?
No.
I want to direct your attention to 4:53 p.m. that day. Did you receive a text from Lindsay about dinner?
Yeah.
And do you recall what it said?
Something along the lines of, do you want to get takeout? I haven't planned anything.
Do you recall it saying, any chance you want to do takeout from 3V? I didn't cook anything. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
Had you been to 3V restaurant previously?
Yeah.
Alone or with the family?
With the family.
And approximately how many times had you been there to eat?
Probably 3 times.
And so you had all gotten in the car and driven from your home to 3V restaurant in Plymouth approximately 3 times?
Yeah, sometimes we were already out somewhere, but yeah.
Okay, but been there 3 times. Had you ever done takeout from there before?
No.
Where would you typically do takeout when you were going to do takeout at home?
The Chestnut Grill. I think another one was West End Grill.
Were those closer than 3V to your home?
Yeah.
Thank you for the
So
jewels.
Lindsay suggested 3V and you agreed, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Did she send you another text at 4:56 p.m. asking you to take a look at the menu?
Yeah.
And did you send a text at 5:06 p.m. About Callan?
Yeah, I asked if he had taken a nap.
And did she respond?
Yeah.
And what was her response?
That it was a shorter nap and he was awake.
And at that time, did you also send a separate text asking what she was getting at 3V?
Yeah.
And what was her response?
I don't remember what she ordered.
Do you recall a Mediterranean power bowl?
Yeah, that sounds right.
And did she ask you what you were getting?
Yeah.
And at 5:08 p.m., did you respond?
Yeah.
And what did you tell her?
I forget what it was.
Do you recall scallop and pork belly risotto?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's fancy.
Who called in the order to 3V?
Lindsay.
I get Whoppers.
Once the order was placed, what did you do?
I came upstairs. I took Callan for a minute and I rocked him by my knees, kissed Cora on the head, and I still be right back.
And what was Dawson doing when you were leaving?
He was eating chicken nuggets on the couch.
And do you recall if he was using a bowl or a plate?
It was a bowl.
Oh, God bless you, Ella. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and maybe I'll cover it if it goes to trial.
Do you remember what the defendant's, well, first of all, where was the defendant seated when you left the house, or was she seated?
She was standing. In
And
the
where was
doorway.
she?
In the doorway of the living room.
And was that the doorway by the front door or the doorway by the basement door?
This doorway by the basement door.
And did she have Callan or where was Callan?
She had Callan.
Okay. And what was her demeanor?
Counsel,
Normal.
can I see both sidebar here?
Oop, I'm missing a whole bunch of messages. Yeah, that's what I said to Ella. I wish her nothing but love, happiness, and prosperity in the future. It's hard. It's hard when you get sick. If you get sick in America, you're screwed. You're screwed. This has happened to me. I can speak from personal experience. We'll get into that when this is over, after I give away the memberships. So I love my community. You guys are so
Members of the
great.
jury, we're going to break at this point for the day. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to excuse you till Wednesday morning. All right. So you don't have to come in here tomorrow. Just remind you, I'm going to ask those same questions that I asked you this morning, whether or not you did any research or you saw anything that would affect your ability to remain fair and impartial. You have to still keep an open mind. So don't do any research. Don't talk about this case with anyone. Don't go online, look at anything. Don't take any road trips. And we will see you on Wednesday morning. Same with the same instructions that you got from the officers in regards to that. So again, thank you so much for your time and your effort. And I'll see you on Wednesday. Okay.
All right. Sure. On the chairs.
One moment.
You're all set.
Guys, so court's over, and that means that this guy who lives in New York with his new family had to stay overnight in the same town that he had the worst experience of his life and just do nothing. Like, Oh my God, Pearl. Look at this dog. Anyways, I'll give away some memberships now. Oops. Okay. All right. Best of luck to those who win. Oh, Grandma got a membership. So sorry. Troll Steve didn't get one. But congratulations to everyone who did. And I am so excited to have you as a member of Criminally Confident. You will get access to members only live streams. You will get your own emojis. The biggest thing is you get your comments on the screen whenever and you can tell who the members are because their names are in green. Like Kaylee's a member, but she's a moderator, so her name will always be in blue. But if you're like a paid member of the channel, your name will be in green. And so I always make sure to, I do my best at least to get you guys on screen because I appreciate your support. And I mentioned this during my last stream on my way to my ketamine therapy the other day. You can go back and watch it. I am doing a case here in Columbus. A lot of you are familiar with it. It is involving a dentist who was sleeping soundly with his wife and his children in Columbus, Ohio, this last December 30th. And he was, he didn't know it, but his wife's ex-husband had been stalking them for weeks. And I have information on that. And I've said this as well. I have information on that, but I can't share it publicly because I don't know what all the prosecution and the defense have so far, but I have a lot of people coming to me that are close to this case. And I just submitted my my filings to be a part of the press. So all of your support, if you're wondering like, what does she need $7 a month for? Gee whiz. Gas. At this point, I'm just gonna let you know it's gas and the parking garage at the courthouse. So I'm very it's a big girl moment. And yay! Yes, we are so appreciative of our members that are here. Oh my God. Dina, please do not allow me to leave this stream without mentioning what happened yesterday. That's part of my story. And yeah, there are people in here that don't have the budget to help support. And I always tell them the same thing. It's okay. I love you guys just as much. What you can do is always make sure everything you see of mine on YouTube, like it, hype it, share it. That's, if you still want to help out, that helps tremendously. And I'm actually shocked. We did really well viewership wise, considering the fact that I haven't done a trial in almost 3 weeks. So I'm happy that the algorithm stayed intact while I did the ketamine treatments. I did go live during them though, so it's not like I abandoned my YouTube. Yeah, so the trial is involving a The guy was a dentist. Yeah, we do, Kaylee. I'll do that on Kick. I always share your. I love you, Candy. I think about you every time it thunderstorms in Oklahoma. By the way, Kaylee, I hope the storms weren't too bad last night. I gave you a heads up. Oh. And you know what? Willa, you get a pass because I know you. Like, we've been through some stuff together. We got like 25 new subs today, which is great. I hear this so much. I tagged the comment. My community is just that. I'm really proud of myself for intentionally focusing on bringing people together in a way that we can have thoughtful discussions. We don't have to agree on everything, because the last thing I want is an echo chamber. The last thing I want, for example, is like a Fox News or a CNN. I don't want an echo chamber. I want us all to come with our own life experiences. Like, I've never been in a homeless shelter, and like Ella is able to provide us with that insight. And that's incredible information to have. You know what I'm saying? And like the support that we shared amongst each other today with our experiences with SSRIs and being dismissed by doctors, being misdiagnosed. That is some of the only support some of you have. And I see that, I know that. And I want you to know you are so important to me. I try not to get choked up on this shit, but excuse my French. It's not a political channel, which is funny because I've always worked in politics. So, but I don't, no, we're not going there. We're not going there. I really love what I've done here. I sound so complimentary, but I seem to be attracting the people that I want, which is you guys. Like, I just feel so abundantly blessed. And I need to do a better job, in terms of like making money off of this, because this case that I'm covering out of Columbus, this is going to be another like marathon trial if it goes to trial, and it will go to trial. He has hired the defendant in this, Michael McKee, has hired the absolute best attorney I've ever seen, next to Alan Jackson from the Karen Reed case. He's hired Diane Menashe. She's been on several high-profile trials. She's just incredible. She defended a guy that killed 2 of my police officers in my small community. Because everyone, no matter how horrific they are, and the police agree with me on this, deserves their civil right met to have a fair and just trial, which I know a lot of people are going to ask, Lacey, are you going to start talking about Brian Koberger? No. I can't even believe. I can't even with him. I can't even. Are you on Scoops X? I don't know what that means. I'm on X. I'm on X at Lacey J. Meeks. Oh, you guys are so sweet. I love you so much. I'm not planning on leaving here shortly, but I need to tell you about my day yesterday. Oh my God. Like, being able to tell you guys, I tried this medication. It didn't help my anxiety, and not feel shame. Like, and you guys in the chat, like, there were, I think, at least 2 people that said they had taken Seroquel and had good results, whereas like 5 of you guys were like, I was on that medication and had horrific results. And just so you know, YouTube, when I say a medication's name, it drops me in the algorithm. It doesn't like when you use like specific names, but look at us. We killed it today, guys. Like, we did a really great job. So thank you for pushing back against YouTube. I mean, they like demonetized one of my videos because someone in the chat was blaming Israel for everything. And I was just like, it's not me, but like, can't we just like, bye, Dina. Well, I hope you come back and listen to my nail story. Wait, welcome, Jade. Oh, you mean okay. Yes, welcome, Jade. I just want to make sure I'm not missing any new members that are joining. Sorry, Miss Jackson. And for those of you who are new, Troll Steve, this guy on screen, he used to show up to all of my streams and he was super mean to me. And I finally was like, sir, what is your issue? What have I done to you? And he just couldn't help himself and he fell in love with me. So he's here. Not like in a weird way. But he's nice now. So we just call him Troll Steve. But I saw what you were doing in the chat today with the rabbits. I saw that a mile away. I'm on to you. Okay. And yes, and one thing I put in chat, I don't know if you saw this, Grandma, but Janex, the name, that's what I call the lady at the ketamine clinic. She asked yesterday, she's like, I haven't heard Grandma's name in the last 2 days. She okay? And I was like, I'll put out an APB on her. I don't know. For those of you who are interested in watching the ketamine streams, my 6th and final stream treatment, at least for the next 3 months, is on Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. I always stream them live. It's obviously very quiet for about 40 minutes. Troll Steve's in there always talking about random things, but yeah, feel free to stop by for that. And then tomorrow I will be live. What did you guys think today about being able to like bypass the brakes? Because that was really nice. I don't think I'm prepared to do that yet. But because I want to be able to find viewers who want to watch the trial live, obviously, but it was really nice to just like zoom past them, which is what I used to do. And like people like Candy, she's been a follower of mine for quite some time, and she knows that I used to just be able to bypass the lunches and the breaks because I would always be a day behind. Maybe we try that, do a experiment. Maybe we do an experiment with that in the next trial and see how that goes. See if we still get as much engagement as like we did today. You guys will have to help me out on that part by continuing to chat, like, and tell everyone to subscribe. And if you are watching this on replay, what you can do is hype the video. It's a thing. All right, so yesterday I filed my paperwork with Franklin County, Ohio, for this trial. To make a very long story short, the IT department rejected my initial application and said, you have to correct this and resubmit it. So I did what they said and I resubmitted it. Thank God it was in an email. I ran into issues when I was trying to apply for my press pass. And I was like, what is going on? So I called, and they literally didn't believe me that I was having these problems until I sent the email. And even then, they were like, IT doesn't know if they're going to be able to fix this. And I was like, okay, well then patch me through to the judge's chambers because we have issues. I've been telling my followers that I was going to cover this trial. Like that's just not okay. I am not going to hang up the phone. Like I got a little, I was never disrespectful. And I even said that, like, ma'am, you don't hear me yelling. Like I understand. But this is not like, okay, we need to get this figured out. And so I really advocated for it. She was able to kick butt with the IT department. And so when I resubmitted it, it went through immediately. Like, I don't know what she said. I figured it out. I resubmitted it. And yeah, things are good. Things are good with that. But I was stressed and I was like, this is impacting my ability to have a living. And I've been telling all these people that I'm going to cover this case from the courthouse. Like, this is not okay. So I got that issue resolved. And then I came home to find out that once again, to make a very long story short, something happened with my 2024 taxes and they didn't get to the city that I live in. And so I found out I have to go to court. I'm reading this and it's like, it didn't say like you're being sued. It didn't say that, but it was, I don't know, maybe that's what that means. But it was like, you have a court appearance on September 5th. And I was like, oh, hell no. I lost it. I lost it. And I spent 3 hours laying in bed, looking at the ceiling, like willing myself not to cry. Because it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. It somewhere in the line of communication between my accountant and the city, something got lost. So we're just going to pay that off and resubmit the paperwork. Hopefully I don't have to go before a judge, because if that's the case, I'm definitely live streaming my own thing. That's content in with like my own self. And then like that was all very wrecking. And so I've been having some rheumatoid arthritis issues recently, and my nails have really been difficult to manage. I've mentioned it on streams. I keep messing up when I'm typing, blah, 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 blah. You guys don't want to hear. So yesterday I was just in a screw it. I'm going to do this. I've been on the fence. I decided to go get my nails done. Nail stuff has changed since I worked for the Board of Cosmetology. And I did not know the difference between like builder gel and I was surprised to see acrylics are a thing again, and Gel X. And so I was asking questions, and like I had the questions in my head, probably like 6 of them. And I think I think anyone would do that. I don't have time to sit on Pinterest for 2.5 hours and look this up on my own. So I was there, I was asking her questions. I said, okay, and that all sounds good. I'd like to go ahead and move forward with this. I found a coupon online. Can I use this? And long story short, she was like, no, this is from when the old owners owned the salon. We won't allow you to use that. And I was like, okay, but you guys should probably like contact Yelp and let them know that the business has been sold. And it didn't help. Frank pointed this out. It didn't help that she spoke very rough English. I believe she was Vietnamese, and it doubly did not help that she had a mask on, because I already struggle with hearing, so I read lips most of the time, and I always have closed captionings on. You guys have known that about me. Like, whenever I can use closed captioning, it's my jam. Welcome, Dina. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Thank you for your support. So she's like doing my nails, and we decided to go with, to be honest, I couldn't friggin' understand her. So I have no idea what I have on my nails right now, you guys. But I showed her a photo of like an ombre French manicure. And all I know is that she had to apply a few nails with this like stick of like extra nail, blah, 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 blah. And she would show me my nails, and I'd be like, yeah, okay. And then I don't know what was going on with her. I think maybe it's the fact that I booked the last appointment of the day, and maybe she had made plans. I don't know. But once again, to make a very long story short, we're halfway through, and she showed me my nails, and I thought she was like asking me if I liked it or if I wanted to make any changes. And so I went like, I told her, I like my thumbnail. Are the rest of them going to look like that? And she threw her arms up in the air. I fucking kid you not. I'm sorry, Jesus. And she says, I can't do your nail. I don't think I can complete the service. I can't do nail. And I look at her, I'm like, what do you mean you can't do my nails? You're doing my nails. You've buffed them out. You've put glue on them, a strip of some sort. And I look around. I'm like, what? My mom owns a salon. It's been around longer than I've been alive, and she still works there full time. I've never seen anyone in her salon tell a client, someone who's paying cash, that they could not complete a service. And she was like, she said, I don't think you're gonna be happy with my service, with my work. And I looked at her and I was like, I had told her that the reason I was getting my nails done is because of my my arthritis issues, and it's really difficult to like maintain my nails and have them look nice. And so anything that she was going to do to my nails was going to look great. Like, I was going to be thrilled. I don't care. And it had to have been like a miscommunication. Like she thought something that I said meant something else. Or, like I said, she just didn't want to be working. But there was a mom and a daughter behind me getting a pedicure. And they were like, their mouths were open and they were like, and I looked at this lady and I said, "You are going to do my nails. I'm not leaving." I like I scooted in and I was like, "Here you go." Like, what? I know you're talking about Allie something. I don't know who that is. Is that not the strangest encounter you've ever heard of? Like, I'm still like reeling from that. So yeah, I got my nails done. Unfortunately, the place that I went to, I'm not going there again. And she had the audacity to like hand me a menu and she said like, "This for next time." And you could barely understand. I mean, probably like 50% of that conversation I understood. And if she was sick and that's why she was wearing the mask, like I'm thankful that she wore the mask. Like, I don't want to be getting sick. You're touching my hands. I'm autoimmune compromised. I don't wear a mask. It's not my thing. But if God wants me to die, He'll make me die. I literally I can't do my own because of the arthritis being so bad. Because I've been trying to do just that, and it's just not worked. I paid $65 last night to be verbally abused. Oh, and then after I raised my voice and I was like, I said like, "You're gonna do my nails. I'm not leaving. You have glue on them. You have drilled them down." Um, she started like slapping my hands around. I paid $65 to be verbally and physically abused at a nail salon yesterday because I was trying to cheer myself up because I had a bad day. I wonder if she asked me what I did for a living and I said like, "Actually, I used to work for the Board of Cosmetology. Um, but now I have a YouTube channel and I cover true crime." And oh, I didn't mention this. I was while she was doing my nails, I was watching the trial because I hate getting my nails done. Sitting there not being able to do anything is like my worst nightmare. So I needed something to focus on. So I was watching the trial and maybe she thought I was going to say like I wanted it for free because I wasn't happy. Oh, she kept saying, "You don't know what you want. You don't know what you want." And I kept saying like, "I showed you a photo. That's that's what I want." Kaylee, really? Did you not hear the accent? Like I tried my best to give you an authentic accent. I It was bad. I like Mhm. Yeah, just don't be mean to me because I'm so nice to people. Like I go out of my way to pray for people and like genuinely be kind and give people the benefit of the doubt. And my hands have been hurting me. So I thought I'd do this for myself. And I was like, I have to work extra hard this week because I want to be able to afford doing this every 3 weeks, right? Oh, you're okay, Kaylee. I was more or less being facetious. That was wild. Wild. And I think she really expects me to like create my own stream where I like diss her or like talk about the business disparagingly. I'm not going to do that. Because I think that's what she thought I was going to do. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to mention where it happened. I'm not going to like do any of that. And when she said that she couldn't do them, I was like, okay, well, who's going to do them? It went so far above my head. Like, I didn't realize that she meant like she's choosing not to do my nails. I've never seen this. I've never seen that happen. And there have been people that have sat in the chair at my mom's salon that I've definitely wished someone would have said, like, get out of here. But I've never encountered that. I told her where I lived as well. Not like my address, but like the general area. And I'm shocked. And I told her I was going to pay in cash. Like, I really wanted it to go well. I really wanted it to go well. I thought this is the most Lacey thing ever. I thought, like, you know what? Maybe God made me have a bad day because I'm going to go get my nails done and sit next to someone who's going to turn out to be my best friend for the rest of my life. Oh my God. I couldn't have been more wrong. I could not have been more wrong. It was one of the most mortifying. Thank God there were only 2 other women in there. Oh, and then when I raised my voice and I was like, oh no, you are going to do my nails. It was that voice. And it was, I looked like that. I had the crazy eyes. And when I did that, the ladies behind me, I heard them go, mm-hmm. Like they could not believe that I was being treated that way. And they were like happy when I stuck up for myself. And that was me sticking up for myself, is just like having the eyes and saying those words. I didn't resort to violence. I didn't throw anything down. Like, I'm the nicest. I always say this. I'm the nicest person I know. Like, I wanted it to work out. But I was I was a nervous wreck after that. Like, and keep in mind, I had ketamine therapy done yesterday. And I like, my heart was just going 100 miles per hour. Should have just stayed at home and just not bothered. But I asked Frank to drive me, and I wasn't about to leave there with strips of something on my hand, on my fingers, and my fingernail plates buffed raw and glued. That was just wild. So that was my day yesterday. Never to be repeated again. And thank you guys for joining today. That was I knew I had to share this experience because that, like, what? Oh, wait, it's coming back to me. I did say that if I left, I was calling the Better Business Bureau. When I'm so dumb, because I used to work for the Board of Cosmetology. I should have said the Board of Cosmetology. But I think she heard YouTube and just like panicked. I don't know. So weird. You would think like, oh, what a great opportunity. This girl does YouTube. Like, maybe she can talk about the good salon. Like, I don't know if you guys heard this yesterday, but the ketamine clinic that I go to that I've mentioned, just this week they have 4 new clients. So weird. So weird. So I don't know. I'm gonna find a new place to get my nails done if I want to get my nails done. She did miss her chance for a free shout out. Cray cray. Speaking of cray cray, Ms. Coco Chamiao has shown up. So it is time for me to go. She did make her a costly error. I believe that wholeheartedly. Like, once again, as the child of a salon owner, I understand the industry. Things have changed in the last 2 years with all these different types of nails, but in that situation, I know I did nothing wrong. I know I did nothing wrong. And that I'm the first one to admit when I screw something up. But the morning started with IT telling me to sign up as something else, and then it went to in the taxes situation. This is what they look like. Oh, no, Coco, you can't get on my laptop. No, you don't have the same kitty, because if you had my kitty, you would be a dog person. She's so mean. She's so mean. Yeah, she's something. She's pretty, but she's crazy. You know, I'm really wrapping up because I'm hot. The cat wants attention, which is always like a sign I need to skedaddle. But like, I go out of my way to buy American, to support small business. I spend more money because of that. And I didn't even mention to her that my mom owns a salon. But when I worked at the Board of Cosmetology, I went on some like inspections. So there are people that work for the state that their job is once a year to go to a salon and make sure that everything is sanitary, that there's no funny business going on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I will never forget the like handful of times we walked into a salon and people ran out the back. And we would find cots in the back rooms. We would find living areas because of human trafficking, because of people not being here legally. Why draw more attention to yourself, negative attention to yourself? Like, why do that to yourself? It didn't feel right. It didn't it gave the ick vibes. And it reminded me of those times that people were running out the back because they didn't want to be caught. Human trafficking is really bad here in Ohio. Really bad. Toledo, Ohio, for some reason. I know it's because of a highway there, but in the state, like, they have the worst. And I don't know, it's just really weird. And like, I don't know. Hopefully she, like, I think for her, sitting back and thinking about this situation, I think she needs to put in a little bit more effort to speak English with her customers, and make sure that they're comfortable. And when I was paying, she's like, do you want a snack? She said, you want a snack? And I'm sure my eyes said it, but I was thinking, the last thing I would do is accept food from someone who's just acted like that towards me. Crazy. Okay, guys. Love you guys. Hopefully you found some amusement from that. I would. And I will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for court. All right, have a good day. Bye. Oops. I messed up. Okay.